You're the worst, Dom.
The worst.
The worst.
The absolute bottom of the barrel worst. And now that we're live and we're back, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Well, not all. Unless it's Brucey's turn to bring the high class kid on, but I don't think that's going to happen this week. That's no. Like every now and then we get a little takeover Morgan segment, but Top Rope Wrestling Talk proudly presents The Invasion live on our YouTube channel, Fox Den Productions. If you're watching out there, hey, what's going on? What's good? How you doing? I'm the South Philly Psycho Dom, and I'm going to go through this real quick because I'm excited to get into this show. I've been waiting, and I got my homegirl, Latina Heat, Wendy.
Hold on. What are we holding on?
Hold on already?
What introduction is this? You know who's in the building. It's your boy, Scorsese Lord Jones.
Oh my
God. One
half
of Griff Scorsese. And when we come through heavy.
You know what? You're absolutely right. You do deserve
better. It's heavy talk on intros.
You definitely.
Rope Wrestling Talk. You know how it is, man. It's your boy, Scorsese. One half of the Dream Team, 1/4 for the Nation Gang, 1/8 for the Zip Squad. I see Wendy. She was talking big trash all week long. The South Philly Psycho. He was talking big trash. He tried to take my crown. You thought you was gonna take my crown. You thought I wasn't showing up. Your boy is here. Now I'm talking my trash. I ain't cursing yet because I don't know if I can curse on your show. But if
it's not made for kids. Go ahead and cuss.
Oh, motherfucker, let's go.
Oh, hell yeah.
EC motherfucking W. Let's motherfucking go. Now I'm Paul fucking Heyman in this bitch.
You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this like real as legit as Top Rope Wrestling Talk can make it. So give me 1 second here.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
Perch upon the top rope with the ghosts. Objects. Tossing Kai Maybachs and young DiBiase, 2-piece suits, 18 minks. Green stink named hit, guaranteed you gon' flow. Rap like me, you guaranteed you gon' blow. Cold. Each show providing courtesy codes. And I ain't even maxed out. These is courtesy quotes. Close lines, put them over the ropes. Late night, West Coast. We was rolling.
Yeah, that's right. I stole that shit. What you gonna do?
Let's go.
It's so good to have Mr. Scorsese from Zip Squad, one half of Griffin Scorsese in the building.
You already know, man. Thank you. All joking aside, man. Thank you so much, Top Rope. We had a good time this whole week. Just really kind of promoting this show, man. Thank you to everybody that logged in, checking us out. Top Rope, everybody, man, that you guys showed up. Let's have a good time, man. We're gonna talk a lot of shit, man. Let's do it.
Oh, hey, Peter. We already got visitors. That's cool.
It's Peter.
Don't mess with Wendy. Nah, we wouldn't let anybody mess with Wendy. Besides, they're tight in real life.
Yeah. So just so y'all know, man, and just so you guys understand, me and Wendy go way back. Nova Pro days. You know, the infamous. Yes. My Carney sweatshirt just showed up. I should have worn my Carney tank top. You know, I don't want to go. I don't want to have 2 tickets to the gun show today. You know,
right?
Somebody asked
I try to get.
You got a permit for them guns?
Listen to me. So you guys already know, as wrestling fans, one of the hardest things to do is choosing the correct wrestling shirt.
Yes.
Wrestling occasion. And the hardest thing about this entire pandemic is sitting in the house and deciding the correct wrestling attire. You know, and I'm looking around. I see obviously the classic Bullet Club. I think it's a Villain Club shirt, right?
Yeah.
Classic Villain Club. Of course, Wendy's wearing the Carnies. I decided to go with the Grapple Cat. You know, I got real kind of snooty.
Nice.
The London overseas, the Grapple Cat.
I came straight from, taking care of a kid all day, so I'm still rocking the Toon Squad shirt.
So basically, he was unprepared for the show, which is par for the course from all the shows that I've watched. She's always unprepared. Nothing,
wow.
I'm cutting this feed, man. The show's over.
Basically, instead of the South Philly Psycho, the unprepared Psycho.
Like,
Out.
listen, you are so lucky he hasn't hit the mute button yet. I am shocked.
Nah, I wouldn't do that to him. I've been waiting to hear this guy
mute me.
all week.
Can't
We've been clowning on Twitter all week long. More than that, and I've been waiting to hear him all week. I will not hit the mute button. One of y'all, definitely.
Okay.
Our special guest, hell no.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's why they say though, I'm the jack
I
of
see
all
where we
trades.
rank.
I'm the master of
Right?
absolutely none. So hey, he's bigger than all of us put together. So he can say whatever he wants. Y'all will get muted in a minute. That's all I'm saying.
Can I tell you a story about that? Not that I feel like I'm already derailing this entire thing, but this one had to come
Derail
up.
it.
That's top rope wrestling talk.
Yes. So
Go
check
ahead.
this out, right? I was you guys know me. I don't really consider myself a part of wrestling Twitter, but I frequently engage with wrestling Twitter. I attend a ton of wrestling shows that go all over the country and truthfully all over the world, watching shows. And me, my homie Renee, my homie Sean Bishop, we call ourselves the Front Row Boys. We're usually front row or near the front row of most of the shows that we attend. And we were kind of discussing a show, and I ended up engaging with that So Rover guy, the weird Irish guy, who calls himself like the IWC community manager or whatever.
Oh
And yeah, he always has like these weirdly like racial opinions, which is, it's always strange to me because I'm like, one, like you're like Irish Catholic in like the middle of nowhere. You don't really understand like American race relations, and you don't go anywhere.
right.
You've never, like, he never attends shows, he never goes anywhere, and he always tries to like discuss race in like these really strangely like diametric terms. I'm sorry, now I'm getting into like my English degree, so I'm using like big words.
Oh no, it's all good. Some of us went to college. You're all right.
There we go. No, I'm proud. You guys are. Yeah, hey,
Some of us
you know.
read.
I'm a college dropout. I'm online.
Yeah, let's do it. Well,
I did girlfriend in college.
well, I called him out on using like a fallacy, and I was just like, he kind of made like this really weird like out something else didn't work, and he was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I was like, well, of course you don't, because you're an idiot, and that makes a lot of sense that you wouldn't understand when somebody intelligent is talking to an idiot.
Of course.
And he was like, oh, you have to be a bot. And I was like, no, I'm a real person. Like, how are you going to show the person who actually is showing his face versus the person who refuses to show his face? Well, I went to sleep and kind of forgot about it. Next day I wake up and a friend of mine points out like, hey, this person from was talking about you underneath the comments. And I went back and looked, and it was this kid from like Bola, and he was like, no, that guy's like really real. And he was at Bola in 2016 and everybody was like afraid of him. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, like he was at the show and he was like making all this noise and we were like really upset with him, and we didn't say anything because, he's like really big and we were afraid he was going to hit us. And I was like, what?
Doesn't make any sense. You're like the nicest guy ever.
I am the nicest guy ever.
I was going to say that too.
Which is strange because like I met a ton of friends. I went to Bola 2016. I met a bunch of friends out there. The only time I've ever actually gotten into like an incident at a wrestling show was in Orlando. I had to choke this guy out in the middle of WrestleCon at the Super Show. It was Orlando, and the guy was being a jerk, and he was trying to show out in front of his, I think it was his fiance. I don't know if she married
They go if
right.
she did.
him after that, but because he couldn't see. Which again, this is why I paid premium for my tickets, because I want to be able to see. And he got mad and he kept pushing me, and then finally I turned around and I choked him. Yeah, long story. But anyway, I tell this story because I always find it weird. People always like point out like my size. Wendy knows me. I'm a fucking teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
At least to Wendy, because she's awesome. But yeah, anyway.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me.
No, so you are the nicest guy. When people see like big dudes, they immediately think like, who,
Absolutely.
Stereotypes fly.
Oh man. Meanwhile, I'm getting reported for racism on Facebook because I told my friend congratulations when his son won a black belt. I was like, how did that happen?
Seriously?
How did that happen? Yeah, my boy Duke.
It happened in our group.
My boy Duke from group. Yeah, it happened in our group. He said he was like late to a discussion thread while we were watching something, and he said, I would have been here sooner, but my son just got his black belt tonight. And I was like, oh man, congratulations. You tell that son of a badass I ain't never fucking with him again. And somebody reported that for racism because I look like me and Duke doesn't. And I was like, for real?
What?
Like, I go back to like junior high school with this motherfucker. Like, and I'm not a young man. Like we graduated 97. So you do the math.
How old I was.
Graduated high school 97. So you do the math. We went to junior high together. And somebody was reporting. Oh, I was pissed. You were lucky you didn't get like a cuss-filled live video. I was pissed.
That's it. I mean, it's always interesting when you start really diving into like race conversations and people's expectations of like who you are and what you are. So like, I'm 6'2", quarantine weight around 235 right now, feeling a little heavy. Been working out.
Gotta have that baggy shirt so they don't see the gut from the
I've
quarantine.
been pretty good. I've been pretty good. Like I said, the gun show is still pretty comfortable. Your European cut t-shirts are a little bit good. Been pretty diligent,
Right.
But people, there's always these weird assumptions about me, and oftentimes, and it goes back to like these concepts of wrestling, attending shows frequently. I go to these shows. I'm a minority. I walk in. I don't see a lot of people that look like me. We tend to gravitate together. We kind of notice each other in the crowd and go, "Hey, it's another guy that looks like me. This has to be cool." I stand out. I'm really loud. I crack a ton of jokes.
So
I
you're
wear
me.
a big straw hat. Yes.
But that was how
Definitely. I
remember the first show I saw you at.
I think that's the part that you don't understand. Like I respect the wrestler's craft. One more time, Wendy, say it.
No, the first time I saw you, like you were interviewing wrestlers mid-match, and it was like the funniest thing ever.
I wish I could have seen that.
And it was like ridiculous questions too. It was like, "What's your favorite cereal?"
Wendy, you cut out.
Did I?
Yeah, you cut out.
You're cutting out.
Uh-oh.
I'm losing you.
Yeah, that's why I got to say it one more time.
I'm losing you.
Oh, okay.
And there you go, freezing up again. It's like,
What's going on? There we go. Now you're back.
Okay,
The
cool.
power's too strong. The invasion. They can't handle it.
It's messing with our connection.
Sorry about that.
Facebook
Little
can't
technical
handle it.
difficulty. One more time, Wendy. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, like the first time we met you, like I say we because it was like me and now my husband, because at the time we weren't married. But yeah, you were just like interviewing everybody mid-match, and it was the funniest thing, like asking them, like what their favorite cereal was and what's a better board game and shit like that. It was hysterical.
Mm-hmm. And the fact they were answering made it even more hilarious.
Oh my God, yes, they were.
That's what makes indie wrestling so awesome.
Really, it does. I'm sorry, I'm paying attention, but I'm also looking at these comments because one of them is crazy. It says, Felipe says, hello from Chile, #CWO. Cheers to my bro Scorsese. Wow. And then he says,
yes.
Ask Scorsese how he ended up spending the night in the same apartment with Jeff Hardy. What?
Oh my God. So
Story time.
First of all, shout out to the homie Felipe. From the infamous CWO, the Chilean World Order. That's a story in and of itself. Yeah, in San Jose. That was my second WrestleMania.
Nice.
I forgot to book my hotel
No.
room. In my WrestleMania was WrestleMania 30. I only went to WrestleMania and Raw, which is pretty simple. I didn't realize about indie shows going on around it. I didn't know anything about WrestleCon. So I just, I want to go to WrestleMania. I want to go to Raw. I go home. Of course, you're walking. I didn't really understand how big WrestleMania was from the standpoint of like, holy shit, there's a ton of motherfuckers out here.
Right, like this is massive.
It's massive, and there were people everywhere. Everybody had their belts, and everybody's talking about WrestleCon or talking about ROH or talking about. And I'm like, oh shit, there was a ROH show. Oh shit, there was a WrestleCon. Oh shit, there was a. And so I made my mind up. Okay, cool. Next year I'm going to all of that stuff. So the next year, of course, now I'm planning a little bit better. I bought my Evolve tickets. I bought my ROH ticket. I bought all these tickets. I got all my shit. And I totally blanked on getting a hotel room.
Oh no.
Like totally it just skipped my mind. I was just so busy buying tickets. I just blanked on it. Well, I got on the plane. I had a layover in Utah and I had just learned about Airbnb. And I was like, I downloaded the app. I crossed my fingers, pushed some buttons on an Airbnb in like the middle. I didn't even know where the hell I was going. I just saw it was like $12 a night. Cool. Boom. When I land, I hope I get this place. I landed. They happened to accept me. I think it was like a 2-hour bus ride or whatever to get where I had to go. I get there. It's this really sweet Korean lady. She made me dumplings. She didn't speak any English. It was a straight Google Translate. Like she had her phone. She would say something in the phone. She would push the button. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. She held the phone out, garbled English. I spoke into the phone. She spit it back out, whatever.
Wow.
I went in the room and I went to sleep. Our gigantic argument going on. One person is screaming in Spanish. One person is screaming in Korean. And so I get up and I kind of look around because I'm like, first of all, I'm like, fuck, I was asleep. Two, I'm like, yo, I got to figure out how to get to the San Jose Fairgrounds so I can get to the Evolve show. And so I'm just kind of like listening to this fight, you know, not really paying attention. And finally, the Hispanic guy turns and looks at me and he's like, do you speak English? And I was like, motherfucker, do you speak English? You know,
like you're asking me.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, of course I speak English. Well, turns out they messed up his room or whatever, and he saw that I had on a wrestling shirt, and he was like, "Oh, are you here for WrestleMania?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, do you mind? Can we stay in your room?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, we're here for WrestleMania too. Me and my friend, you know, we're from Chile, and we have a car. You have a car? I don't have a car. Let's hang out. This is great. This is perfect.
Let's pool our resources.
Let's pool our resources." Literally, ever since then, Felipe has been like my best friend in the world. I ended up flying down to see him, and I had to tell you that part of the story to get to the Jeff Hardy story because it mattered. We ended up spending like that entire trip all the way through San Jose. We went to every show together, and Felipe actually runs like the biggest wrestling podcast in Chile called Suplex.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think he averages almost. I think it's like 50,000 to almost 100,000 listeners every time he drops.
Damn,
really dope.
Felipe, we are not worthy. Yeah, seriously,
he is the man. And he was helping run a show with Hugo Sanchez. I might be saying his last name wrong, but they were running a show with the main event was the Young Bucks versus Broken Matt and Brother Nero.
Oh, wow.
Huge main event at the time. Before All In, this was the biggest independently run match ever. As far as like main event, there was 8,000 people in this building. They actually caused a small earthquake. It was so loud in that building.
That's crazy.
It was, oh my God, like the atmosphere, like they were screaming delete and suck it so loud. Now understand, this is entirely Spanish audience. That might have been the only English they knew.
Yeah, that's it.
Delete and suck it.
If you're lucky, obsolete, maybe.
I have a video, it's like 3 minutes long, of them just screaming delete and suck it left and right. Oh my God, it was incredible atmosphere.
I can't imagine.
Well, anyway, I flew down to see him and to help run the show. I rang the ring bell for the show. Helped him pick up all the different talent. Ricochet was there, which was crazy because I saw Ricochet live in Maryland like 2 days before. So of course, we go to.
I remember the show. It was Hugo Savinovich was the guy putting it on.
Savinovich, thank you.
The guy that used to do Spanish commentary on WWE. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Him.
That's correct. Thank you. I couldn't get his last name right. Well, yes. So, of course, we go to pick up, Brian Cage was there. A ton of people. I got a ton of pictures and everything. Well, anyway, Jeff Hardy, I don't want to tell all the stuff because there's some things that we got to, kind of keep quiet on the other story because I don't want to get him in a ton of trouble. But Jeff couldn't make his flight. And I'll tell you offline. But Jeff couldn't make his flight. So we find this out later. We get a call from the airport. A concerned citizen's like, hey, Jeff Hardy can't fly home with Matt. Can somebody come pick him up? We don't want the news to find out what's going on. Cool. We drive to the airport. We pick up Jeff Hardy. We bring him back to our friend's apartment. Jeff Hardy is laying on the couch with about $40,000 in cash in a fanny pack, watching Monday Night Raw with us.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Now, when I tell you that Jeff Hardy marked the fuck out for, at the time, Adrian Neville doing the broken arrow, I mean, like he'd never seen it before. Mm-hmm. Like, he jumped off the couch. What the fuck did he just do? Like, he lost his shit.
I think I did that too.
Holy, like, it was really like crazy to watch him do that. He was just like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that. Like, it was really cool. Well, we ended up getting him a flight book. He had to wait like a day. So we ended up spending the next day just sightseeing Santiago. And he goes, hey, you're a big guy. Just be my security for today. I was like, all right, I'm Jeff Hardy's security. He was walking around.
Oh, shit.
And we ended up just marching around Santiago, Chile, acting as Jeff security guard, which is downtown. Like, when I tell you, like, Jeff was a fucking rock star. I mean, like, police officers, people came running out of museums. Like, he shut down traffic, come away from here so cars can keep.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Keep going by. People were getting biggest. He was just like, back to WWE. Like, I want to get that WrestleMania moment. And he knew it. He was like, that, what happened to me a couple nights ago reminded me so much of WWE. Like, he hated wrestling on the indies. Like, he was really upfront about it. He was like, that shit, it's not fun. Which was a fascinating kind of reveal. Like, it was like a reveal into the mindset of like a guy who had like been to the top of the mountain and kind of wasn't there and climbed his way back up. Cause he was just like, cause we're sitting around, we're eating lunch. And it's like a really rare chance to sit and like pick a guy's brain. Yeah. And, he told me, I was like, yo, if you could have your retirement match, like, what would it be? And he was like, I want to do, he's like, I want to do WrestleMania versus the Undertaker and 20-foot ladder.
Oh yeah.
He's like, that's
awesome,
like where it all started for his singles career, basically.
That's it. That's exactly. He said that's the symmetry. Mm-hmm. He says, I want to miss. Taker pins me. I go out on my back.
Yeah, like full circle.
Yeah. And Taker shakes my hand. He said, he shakes my hand, gives me the big handshake. We ride off in the sunset.
Like, him saying that, like, he just wants to go out 1, 2, 3, like, that just shows like how much respect he actually has for the business, not just the business, but the Undertaker as well. Like, most of these guys, and not most of them, but a lot of them, when they go out, they want to go out with that WrestleMania moment of, I just won the title or I just beat my rival. Like, no, he's like, I just want to jump off a 20-foot ladder. He can pin me 1, 2, 3, and I'll shake his hand and go on my way. It's like, I mean, there'd obviously be a better match throughout, but
absolutely.
To have that respect for the business and the Taker, it's awesome to hear.
It really is. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the comments because Philippe came back and said about the story. It's true. It's damn true.
Definitely like that match. No, you're cool. When you think about people gave Kurt Angle shit for losing to Baron Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kurt Angle was really upfront. He was like, that's the match I'm supposed to lose.
Yeah, like the one on the way out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm supposed to give that rub to a guy like that. Like, Baron Corbin is supposed to be like, you're supposed to hate Baron Corbin for beating me because that means I did my job. He did his job.
Oh yeah.
And everybody goes on. We remember Ric Flair getting kicked in his face in his last match, but that doesn't take away everything.
Shawn Michaels with the I'm sorry. Right before
that is like that moment's gonna stay with me for the rest of my life. Like,
heart-wrenching.
Because it's supposed to be, but at the same time, you're like, I need a minute. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see. And Alvaro said, "You guys are awesome. Thank you. So you. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate people.
Thanks for tuning in, big bro.
I just want to, throw out the invite. You know what? In honor of, in the name of TRWT, next year, if they do hold WrestleMania down here at SoFi in SoCal, my man, you shoot me $12 a night. I got a bedroom for you. I can't promise you dumplings and all that.
Hey,
I can't promise you Jeff Hardy.
Listen, and that was supposed to be my bedroom, by the way. So now you're telling me out.
Listen, as long as
maybe I'll throw a phone call Joey Ryan's way or something. I'll see what I can do. But,
listen to me.
I got no Jeff Hardy, but
if I got a warm place to sleep, that's really all I need, man. And a place to keep the beer cold.
Yeah.
We'll fill that extra bedroom with cots, dude. I'm gonna pile like
He's gonna be like stepbrother and building bunk beds.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm gonna be on one of those cots. Don't threaten me with a good time. That's all I'm saying.
We'll have my wife cooking up some scrambled eggs every morning.
We'll all be doing TRWT from your garage.
Man. Felipe will tell you when we were in San Jose, he used to I didn't realize until that year, I was like, I'll go to like 1 or 2 shows. Felipe was going to like 4 or 5 shows a night, and then would come back to our room and would podcast, because he had to send that podcast down because everybody in Chile was waiting to hear what he had to talk about.
Right.
And then he would wake up at like 8 o'clock and he would like, Shelton, we gotta go. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yo, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
And so then when Renee started going with me the next year, Renee and I were going to get up at 9 o'clock, be wherever we got to go. And we're just hitting every single show until midnight.
Wow.
Crash, wake up. I mean, I can tell you stories about us in Dallas, man. I think we spent almost like $100 on a Taco Bell one time.
That's a tough thing to do too.
That is. You gotta like buy the whole ass Taco Bell.
I can listen in Dallas. I can tell you flat out, I didn't have a drink of water until I got on the plane to go home, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until I got on the plane, and we depressurized, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm shaking!
Mm-hmm.
What the?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I need water." And the lady, the poor flight attendant, I was like, I need water. She's like, would you like a cup? I was like, no, give me the whole.
No, give me a jug.
It's sparkling.
Bucket.
I need a gallon.
No,
a whole fucking bottle. What do you mean a cup?
Right. I had the same problem on the way back from like Cancun, like spring break. I spent the whole week drinking, and I got on a plane, and as soon as we pressurized, it was like,
oh man, that was, and like, so like my work, like I'm a school teacher by trade. And like that was like that WrestleMania was the week that my spring break and WrestleMania week aligned. So I literally had like 12 days in Dallas.
Wow.
Oh,
and not one drop of water.
Not a drop of water. Like I landed, like I flew out of DC on like Friday. Actually, no, that's a lie. Because I went to Nova Pro. We went to Nova Pro that Friday because that was it was Faye Jackson versus Vita Scott in their hardcore match. Cause when Faye hit Vita with the chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Wendy remembers that match.
Yep.
Man, Felipe just subscribed to us. He's like, thank you, Felipe. Like, as big as you are, give us little guys. Hey, shout out CWO. Oh man, he sent us a bunch of comments too. He said his moment was Rollins catching. Oh, I guess with RKO when he tried to
stop.
Yeah.
And DX versus NWO with Sting Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yes,
those were his moments. And he also said he wants to. I want to meet you all when I go there, when all the COVID stuff is done, basically.
Yeah.
And
one thing.
We'll hook up, Felipe. No lie.
We got to listen. One thing that this one of the best parts about wrestling and one of the most unfortunate things about this entire pandemic is things like this, right? Like I got a chance to meet everybody on this podcast. Felipe was actually supposed to travel to back to America. He hasn't been back since, and he was actually, we had planned out our entire WrestleMania. He was coming up for Tampa. You know, we had bought our tickets for New Japan. We had bought our tickets for the Culture, Progress. We were going all over the place in Tampa. So when this got canceled, man, it was really, really sad.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody like me, I struggle with depression.
I get it.
A little bit. And again, this is why, you know, things I don't really talk about often, but she checks on me. You know, that hit me hard because, you know, not being able to sing on his own, but you know, just knowing that, you know, here excited, you know, I know, you know, look, LA, we're gonna look. Vince gave us this one. He's not giving up another. We'll be in LA.
I don't think
next
so
year.
either. Yeah. If I get my money back together after all this COVID mess, I'm gonna be in LA with him.
Oh, listen.
We're all gonna be at Evil Station over at Evans House.
Evil Manor, yeah, we'll get our grub on.
Evil Manor,
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Let's see. Peter said, I miss seeing local wrestling. Like I recently saw, and I struggle to say this name just because hip hop. I recently saw Pac before he went to AEW. I always want to say Pac. I always want to say Pac.
Both ways.
Because
So.
Tupac, and all of a sudden Pac, and I'm like,
Pac first of all, Pac sounds better than Pac anyway.
Yeah, it really
if we're
does.
being honest. But
I know. I'm just saying, all those years of Tupac. Every time I see it, I want to say Pac.
I still call him
no,
Pac.
it's Pac.
Like it doesn't matter to me. I know it's Pac. I'm like,
I know, but I'm trying to like.
Pac.
Again, you got those. I don't want those trolls to pop up like in here and be like, "It's not Pac, idiot."
Well, let's jump into that. Let's jump into some modern wrestling because we got to talk about the Fight Pit. I don't know if anybody watched.
Oh. Yes.
I watched it today.
It was fucking brutal. Oh my God.
That was phenomenal.
I think the best way to put it is, as Vampiro used to say on Lucha Underground, it was brutal. I mean,
yes.
Oh my God. Bro, he hit those teeth out of his face.
Yes.
What?
I don't know if those are real.
No, that was totally fake.
Or fake teeth.
I'm hoping they were fake.
I'm hoping they were real.
Listen,
I'm a horrible human being. I'm hoping they were real.
Okay, I was trying to pretend, but I'm hoping they're real too. Thank you, Wendy.
I'm not gonna lie.
I thought the blood was fake.
Yeah.
When it first, because with the way he rolled over, usually.
Oh yeah.
He took too long on his face.
He had trouble bursting the blood capsule.
Yes.
All kind of. Yep. The teeth I thought was really cool. I thought it was a cool, because Timothy, first of all, Thatcher's teeth are terrible anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No.
It's not like I have room to talk, but still.
You know, I've been in that position where I get in a fight and I lose a tooth, and I got to tell you, the bleeding does not stop that quick. Like they went to commercial, came back. Timothy Thatcher was totally.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't care unless they gave him stitches or something on the way. That blood is not going to stop that fast. That's the only thing that threw me off. Up till that point, I was like, oh shit, that could have been real. And then when they came back and there was no blood whatsoever, I was like,
and there was no blood on the mat. There's no, I mean, it was still
cool. It was still cool.
Here's my thing. And here's, I said this last night as the match was going on. I was like, this is the closest that we'll get to like a Jake Barnett Bloodsport match this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's true.
I really love the way Matt Riddle made use of the cage, as far as like a lot of little flips and little things like that. Mm-hmm. I said if I would love a 4 to 5 fight like takeover fight pit style. Yeah. Like I could book it right now. I could fantasy book my way through it. And I think I spent like that last night, like just fantasy booking. Yeah, my way through it. Shooters only. Shooters only.
I still think though the main event would have to be like Matt Riddle versus Bill Goldberg.
Give me
Willie G.
I don't even listen.
Just to shut him up.
Listen, you say Goldberg for like any of this. Yeah. But give me that later. Give me Chad Gable versus Jack Gallagher.
Yeah.
Give me Kushida versus
Rockstar Spud.
God, no,
In the fight, but dude, they just put on a great match.
I'm not talking about a match though. I want shooters though. I want people who have like
give me like
fight.
Yeah, give me like Drew Gulak versus like Daniel Bryan. You know, like in that fight
put on a clinic though.
Yes.
Like you put those two in the ring. It's not a match. It's not a brawl. It's a clinic, and they show you how to do it clean and good.
Yep. In that fight pit, though, it would be just art.
Beautiful.
And then imagine if you can take that fight pit and then just bring the seats in closer for a crowd. So instead of it, and this is what we're talking about, like
right up against the cage, like bar wrestling.
Right up against the cage,
just like bar wrestling.
Like or like beyond, where instead of it, and like just especially because you have that plexiglass.
Yeah.
Just push that plexiglass right beside it. Put everybody around it so it looks exactly like Fight Club.
Yeah,
that would be legit.
That definitely worked.
Oh, holy crap! I was like,
love that
4 to 5 fight. That's 2 hours of fucking greatness. That looks completely different.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think they stumbled onto something.
They really did,
and I think you can make that your signature match.
That would be cool too. That also got me thinking, because you were booking these Fight Club matches, and I know obviously we're going to talk a little bit about music and hip hop and that kind of stuff. If you could book a fight pit like fight pit card, and just put like either MCs or musicians in general in a fight pit together, who would you book?
Oh man, straight shooters.
Like I don't even know if it's straight shooters, just people that want to beat the shit out of each other. Like for starters, first intergender fight pit, Kanye and Taylor Swift. Just let them go at it until somebody gets knocked out or tapped out.
Well, see, no, if I got to do that, I got to do this. It's got to be. Taylor Swift versus Beyonce.
Oh,
I got to do. Give me Kanye West versus Jay-Z.
Yes, or Nas.
Make it a tag match.
No, see, no, it's gotta be one-on-one.
No, it's gotta be one-on-one, but like Nas versus Jay-Z, that would be a good one too.
My grudge match has got to be 50 Cent versus Ja Rule.
I was just thinking that.
Because
I was just thinking that.
We got to find a way to like resurrect Biggie and Pac and put them in a fight pit.
Eminem and Nick Cannon. And then you can actually throw Machine Gun Kelly in for a triple threat.
People always forget like 330 pounds. My God, like he would like
poor Nick Cannon.
Tupac's like 5'9", like he's like a midget.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Biggie don't have any cardio though, because even on a show he was huffing and puffing. Like Pac could dance circles around him, and that would be that. You know.
I don't know. I wonder about that. He didn't need Suge Knight then.
I don't think you need a Suge Knight for anything other than bail money if you want to be real.
I mean, are you sure? Clearly he did.
Okay, maybe. Jury's out. You know what I'm saying? oh, and like LL Cool J and Cannabis. They had such like a little mini hip hop battle back in the day. Like I would love to see that actually come together in a fight pit. Because even Cannabis did like the boxing video when he first started jabbing at him, and then LL came back. And I was like, oh, I don't know where Cannabis is these days. We need to dig his ass up and put him in a ring with LL Cool J before he gets too old.
Let me see. Cannabis, after he lost that battle to LL, he went and he joined the army. Did that for about 4 years. Left, joined the battle rap circuit, embarrassed himself there. And now he's just kind of floating around. I don't even think he's making.
Wow.
Yeah, like LL would have to watch out if he's got some army training.
Like,
you know?
Yeah, see, that's the difference though. He trained his body and mind now. He might be a little different. He army tough now.
Never know.
and anybody that can come in and just tap Drake out at all those rap battles, anybody that can just put Drake in something and choke him till he's asleep. You just put the MC in.
Drake has a Mr. Miami body now, though. You know, he's got all that plastic surgery. He's got the built-in chest.
It's all for show. It's not even real.
Yeah, that's not even real. That's all.
Right. He needs a built-in. He needs like a built-in respirator, or else he's going to sleep quick. Just.
I'm built like a husky 12-year-old.
You know,
boy.
he's like,
I could probably still take him.
Oh no, I'll whoop Drake's ass. I'm old and beat down, and I'll still whoop Drake's ass. I ain't training Mighty Mix for nothing. I'll whoop that motherfucker's ass.
You hear me? Poor Aubrey.
Oh man. Poor Aubrey. No love for Aubrey.
The greatest punching bag rapper's ever seen, man.
Right?
Yeah. For real. It's like, well, you shouldn't have gotten the game then. Sorry.
Hey, look.
Oh man, I can't believe all these comments we're getting. It's crazy.
Question for you guys.
Okay.
So,
I got you.
Ask away.
It's time. It's time for us to have this conversation.
All right.
I knew it was coming. I knew it. I know what he's got for us.
We're almost 2 years in.
Okay.
All right. And I want your honest opinion. Actually, we'll say 2 years. I want to go with their TV. All Elite Wrestling. What do you think?
I love it.
Why?
Why? Because it's something new. It's different. It's not WWE. It's not the same recycled storylines. Like we were talking about last week on the show, like on our pre-show before Double or Nothing, like AEW still has all those cards and all those oh shit moments sitting in their back pocket still. Like WWE's done it over and over again. It's getting stale. I mean, for me, it's getting stale. I watch NXT. I haven't watched Raw and SmackDown, honestly, in probably 2 years. I just love it because it's new and fresh, and I'm seeing actual new talent come in, and not everyone that I'm used to.
That's true. Like I'm really digging what AEW started. They definitely do things a little differently. I'd like to see them continue that process, because you've already gotten to points, not only with stories and matchups, but like with characters that you're bringing in. Like immediately off the bat, they're like, yeah, we signed Nyla Rose, and people were freaking out about it, and I was like, good. Like, there's got to be somebody out there that watches wrestling that's going down that same road that needs somebody to look up to. And where else are you going to find it? Even in I'm not saying, but being Native American myself, it was hard growing up, beyond Chief Jay Strongbow to really find anybody. And then when Tatanka broke on the scene, I was like, oh, thank God, I finally got someone. And I'm sure somebody felt that way about Nyla Rose. So I'm glad they do stuff like that. I wish they would take it a little bit further, and maybe, give you more, not representation of like oddball, but just of people in general, because there are so many people that watch wrestling from so many different backgrounds. I mean, there's 5 of them right here, and we are all different in one way or another.
Okay.
Like, we are all different. There's one Native American, there's one Puerto Rican, there's one Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm married to Puerto Rican, but
I'm sorry. You got some Puerto Rican in you. My bad.
Hey.
I knew it was one or the other.
Hey.
My bad.
Hey,
right. And of course, my soundboard went dark, or else I would have I'll be here all night. My bad. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's like a United Colors Benetton of wrestling right here on this show right now. But when you look at the product itself, it doesn't always show that spectrum, and it doesn't always give certain people the opportunity. Like, I loved Tatanka came through, but Tatanka was basically a mid-carder, and he was a great talent, great gimmick. I don't think he ever got a shot at the WWE title, not one. And he was there forever. He came back, he and people loved him. He was so over. Everybody's chopping and chanting and everything else, and not one WWE title shot, not one. It's like, for real?
All right, here, Evan. Let me hear you. Then I'm gonna listen to Wendy, and then I'm gonna respond. So I want to hear your opinions real quick.
Yeah, man. I'm a huge AEW fan. I'm a fan of the indies. I go to PWG. I'm over here in a bar wrestling where we're standing around. There's not even seats. So to me, production value, it's not about that. I get the criticism that, it doesn't look as far. WWE, they've been giving us 70 years of, high class top production. So anybody that comes new to the game, they're going to be inferior, a little bit inferior. So I get that criticism that they may not be, giving us the best production value. Every now and then they get a little sound glitch. Every now and then they get the wrong camera angle, and that, they haven't even been around on TV for a year yet. That's understandable. But what I like is they bring a freshness. They bring like something new. WWE, the way I explained it last time on one of our shows, it's like you go to that party. It's thrown by the professional. You go to a club. It's, you know, you get the professional DJ. You get the $12 drink. And you're going to expect that level of high classness, and you're going to get that value, and it's going to be good, and you're going to have a good time. But when you hit up that backyard party, that underground club, and you're spending, you know, $4 on a beer, and the DJs are local, and they're guys you know that you've seen, that you don't have a connection to you personally, and they're killing it, and the crowd has this energy and a vibe that WWE doesn't really have anymore. That Full Sail crowd, when they had a crowd, we saw the same recycled people over and over again. They started trying to get themselves over. They were chanting what they wanted to chant. Whereas AEW is hitting new markets and new cities that are craving that freshness, that are craving that energy that they're bringing to them. And that's what I dig. I dig the fact that I'm seeing something new. Like you said, I'm going to get new talent. I'm going to see, we saw this, who was her name? Danny Jordan recently. We saw this, that Brazilian chick last night. So many new talent.
Oh,
Pineapple Pete, a guy I had never heard of him. And now he's a household name to me. That's what AEW brings. Yeah, whereas WWE, they're signing the names, but they're using the same Adam Cole. They're using the same Roderick Strong. And it's not fresh anymore. It's getting stale. And AEW, they're a brand new product, and they're pumping in freshness, and I'm just going to eat it up.
Okay. Mindy, talk to me.
So, AEW, I enjoy it very much. I do have to agree, it definitely has that indie spirit to it. And especially right now, not being able to go to indie shows, being able to get that somehow is very thrilling and exciting. They have some work to do, I will admit that, and not just production value wise, but talent wise, the way they use certain talent, who they use, how they use them, how they book them. It's great to see people you wouldn't normally see in the ring, like Sonny Kiss being out there, just being his extra fabulous self. I love it, but why not give him greater opportunities? Proud and powerful. It's amazing to see Puerto Ricans out there not being the lawnmower rider, not being some sort of stereotype. It's fantastic to see them, but why not book them better? When they were LAX, when they did everything else around, they were fucking amazing. But here they're booked as clowns.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right.
And you know, that's one of the reasons I have a lot of respect for Impact, because they're doing things that nobody else in wrestling does. Like, you know what, we're gonna give our main title to a woman. And then when she can't come in, we're gonna have a TNA title tournament, and Moose is gonna walk away with that. We don't care. We're gonna give you what nobody else is giving you, because you'll probably watch, and people watch it for that type of shit.
We're gonna get the Impact in a second. Hold on one second.
Oh, my bad.
I'm jumping. I appreciate that in certain regards, like the LGBTQ plus community is getting seen beautifully like that. I mean, Nyla Rose, come on, amazing stuff, right? But I wish that they worked the same way with other communities, especially wrestlers of color, for example. But that's just me.
Yeah,
that's just my brown opinion.
I've said it on the show too. Like, I don't know how Proud and Powerful or Lucha Bros or whatever get kind of like pushed to the side, and they're like, nah, we got to push best friends. You know, we got to get like mismatch tag teams up in there. It's like, wow, these guys are great. You know,
here's some of yours, friend. What's your opinion?
So, my opinions on AEW are really mixed. And like hearing you guys, a lot of the things you guys touch on are actually things that don't really bother me. Like the production values, I don't know, that stuff that to me doesn't like missing camera angles to me that's not a big deal, because that's television. You know what I mean?
Live TV.
Agreed.
That I love, because I think that matters to a certain crowd. When I'm in that crowd, I want to enjoy it. When I'm watching TV, I want to enjoy a TV product. And I think that's probably like they're currently, I think, where they're still trying to find their way. And I think as they continue to kind of market, they're going to figure out like the best way to balance that, because they're still trying to market to, like, as Evan said, like that crowd when they're in the building, they're trying to cater the product to that building versus the people that are watching it on TV and they're like, oh, they missed it. I hear you. It's that really awesome spot. Same thing with it, like the music. Like they intentionally mute the music, but in the arena is really loud. Mm-hmm. So they're popping for it. There's a clear kind of like inconsistency with the way that they're presenting their characters. The lack of, and I know a lot of people have really kind of pushed back on that concept of like, we don't have to have bad guys anymore. We don't care about it.
Right.
You don't have to have good guys and bad, like why does this character exist in this universe? And that was, I think that's kind of where like WWE lost their way was at least I knew why this person was. I know why this person is doing this thing. I know why the Dream can snap his fingers and, purple smoke pops up and he disappears. That's what the Dream does. Adam Cole walks around with his jerky friends, their little jerky area of the thing. You know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera, right? Well, yeah, they're jerks. You know what I mean? They're really talented jerks that walk around. Nobody's really ever explained to me why Orange Cassidy is a lazy guy that walks around with his hands in his pocket.
It's his gimmick.
Yeah, I don't think they ever explained it to anyone, to be honest. I think he just came up with it one day.
No, I watched.
Well, this is what I mean. I know why, because I've watched him enough on the indies. You know what I mean? Like, I know why. But again, that's catering to a very, very small subsegment of an audience who knows who this is, who knows why he does this thing and is going to get enjoyment from it. But when I showed it to a friend who has never seen this person, they literally were like, that's stupid. And I couldn't defend it because, I enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with you on that. Like with Orange Cassidy, like when
they didn't enjoy it. And it was like, oh, why this thing happened? Explaining why this thing happened rather than enjoying the match. And you never want that.
No.
And so I think some of that is just, the expectation that AEW has. And I think some of their fans have gotten to this point where like, well, you have to watch Being the Elite. And I'm like, well, I shouldn't have to watch your YouTube show to get the character development.
Right. No, I hear you. That's the thing, like with them,
that's why I watch the TV show. You watch that character development. You know what I mean? And if I want to watch your YouTube show, that's my choice. Wendy touched on my other big one, is the way that they utilize their characters, and particularly their characters of color. That's my biggest issue. And it has been, and it's something I've kind of tracked over time. Outside of the Scorpio Sky versus Chris Jericho match, and the Pineapple Pete versus Chris Jericho match, ironically enough, there hasn't.
I'm sorry, even that match felt like it was bullshit and clowny. Like I get that Shug's character isn't the most serious one, but he should have been given a real opportunity in a real match.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm a big fan of his, but that's just how I feel.
Oh yeah,
no, I'm the same way. And be honest, I'd never heard of him until he showed up on Dark one day, and then I saw him in the crowd, and I was like, this guy's kind of cool.
I can tell you this. We go back further than that. I first saw him at Nova Pro. He drove up on his own dime for a tryout, actually, at a Nova Pro at the infamous Mime show.
Oh no. So that must have been the sensitive subject. Yep, she's covering up.
That. Yes, the infamous Mime heel turn. But I've followed his career. I followed him, and I've watched him transform his body. Like he's gotten himself into amazing shape. I've watched him I've watched him go overseas, ply his craft,
Yep.
and earn that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I tuned into that episode of AEW to watch him wrestle Chris Jericho because I was excited. I was like, this is a big opportunity. And
right, like here's that moment, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, think about this, right? Apollo Crews, Uha Nation, he just won the United States title.
Yes.
Too easy. Shout out to Uha. But that came from a 20-minute match with Tommy Yen with Aleister Black.
Yes.
That he got because of this pandemic. He got a chance to show people that more than anything, Uha's a fucking incredible wrestler.
Yeah,
and we can go deeper into like how this pandemic has really shown and given a lot of people who haven't gotten these chances to wrestle matches and not gaga bullshit. These guys have had to like wrestle, and that wrestling match propelled him to the US title. And I wish Suge would have gotten 10, 15 minutes to wrestle Jericho.
Yeah, me too.
It would have
now
been...
that being said, and I'm a push and on all those things, but think about that. In almost 2 years of television time, you have 2 matches with black men.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times people get mad at me like, well, what about so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, like I have a house full of black boys. And they watch, but then when they watch SmackDown and they see Kofi, they get excited.
Yeah.
When they watch, NXT and they see Keith Lee and they go, Daddy, he has the same last name that we do. You know what I mean? And so those things matter. And they're little things that people don't think about.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. Like being Native American and then seeing Tatanka come out. It's like, it wasn't that I wasn't watching WWE thinking like, oh, Ultimate Warrior or Macho Man. But when Tatanka came out, I was like, oh, shit. Because it's finally like somebody that I can, look at and say, oh, that's me. That could be me.
Yep.
And that's what people want when they watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Even go back to like I was so happy when Kofi won the WWE title, and then I'm thinking about those 11 years, and I'm like, how many times did you put the belt on Randy Orton? Like couldn't you gave Kofi one back them 9 years ago when Randy was talking about the whole stupid gimmick in the match they had?
Talking about Kofi, look at Naomi. She
don't
even get me started on how they did Naomi dirty, and like now they're not even looking at her, and when she won that title, that was amazing. That was truly a magical moment, And then for the injury to happen, for her return, and for them to just kind of be like, well, we're not going to be bothered with her, In what world does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like, no, we'd rather just keep the title on Bayley. Like, all right, Bayley's had it for like a year now. Can we move on?
Well, think about this though, right? Because like Bayley's Latina, and
she's got ability though, and she doesn't wrestle under a Latino name. She wrestles under the name Bayley.
Right,
I don't relate to her.
Well, hold on.
I'm holding.
I know.
Getting that Latina heat going.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Because I think a lot of times when anybody really kind of like makes these comments, or we people automatically assume that we mean this person has to be the champion. They have to be the champion forever. It's not about that. Mm-mm. It's about putting people in a position where they're no longer stereotypes, right? Like Shad Gaspard, for example, like rest in peace. And we'll talk about AEW Double or Nothing in a second, because I had a very, very serious issue with the whole drowning spot. That I just felt it was in poor taste. But like Crime Time, a lot of people remember Crime Time, and they remember, they laugh at it, and they're just Crime Time is a very stereotypical gimmick. He was killed by a police officer, and there's no other way to say it. A black man was walking. He was bird watching of all things, and a white woman got upset because he asked her to put her dog on a leash, and she called the police on him and said that he was threatening her, and he could have been killed. You know, because we've seen this happen.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
And so here in Washington D.C., you know, I was sitting at a bar. The Redskins were kicking the Eagles' ass. Actually, I got up to go to the bathroom. I came back to my stool, and a woman was sitting in my stool. I asked her very politely, "Can I have my stool back?" She got belligerent. The bartender was like, "Hey," he was sitting there. "Can you get your hand off my face?" She called the police and said that I hit her. The police sat there. They came in. The bartender was like, "No." She grabbed him. He politely asked her to move, and he removed her hand. They maced me 5 times. I went to the hospital.
God.
I was arrested. Nobody could find me. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And again, like it looked at me, they looked at how big I am. They looked at her and they made a decision. She's right. I'm wrong. And that's the end of it. And that's why when we talk about these things and we talk about how people are presented, right? That's why Pineapple Pete's important. That's why Suge is important. Just laughing and having fun. That's why Sunny Kiss is important. And why Sunny Kiss being on TV is something presentable. You know what I mean? That's why Apollo Crews. And of course, I want Apollo Crews to have a great fucking series of matches. And I want him to have a very nuanced character and all this shit. But I'm really glad. Keith Lee isn't a fucking gigantic fire-breathing monster asshole. He's quiet and soft-spoken. I love
Keith Lee. Yeah. Always have. That dude, that gimmick is just mwah. You know?
But think about it. Always, that's the beauty of it. He's not loud. He's not, you know, he's not a Memphis style monster baby face or anything.
Right. But so then you look at what he can do, and he can go toe to toe with Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the whole night. And he doesn't have to be that guy. And that's what makes it so beautiful, is that he can be that soft-spoken, bask in my glory, kind of cocky, and yet he can still stand toe to toe with anybody, and he can still outwork a lot of those guys. Exactly. And that's when you're like, okay, this is what needs to happen from now on. You know, I know there's not a lot of talents like Keith, but this gimmick is what needs to happen down the line.
It's appreciated, showing the sides of
think
it.
About that. Like, and then you can have MVP, and you can have Bobby Lashley, and you can have like on Raw. I was
just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, like just having that on Raw on Monday. And it was something I didn't even really notice until somebody else pointed it out. They were just like, "Hey, everybody in this main event is black," and I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." How cool is that? You know what I mean? And it was because like I said, this pandemic, because it's kind of partially the roster's been thinned out, but also because I think one thing that Paul Heyman and everybody else has kind of done is they kind of defined roles with this roster. And I've told people that have kind of like moved away from Raw, I wish they would kind of start watching it a bit, because it has like it, you know, take away the lack of crowd and all this other stuff. The show has improved.
It has.
Yeah. It really has.
I feel like it was a chore to watch.
Yes.
And now I'm like, I think I can actually watch this and not feel so like drained afterward.
Mm-hmm. Right, because like we'll watch it because we have like discussion threads in our group, and we'll watch it for the people that want to, you know, come in, tag along, chat with us. And some nights, like, man, you're lucky I like the people in this group, because otherwise. But lately it's like, okay, I like that. I like where they're going with this. I want to see what they do. I'll be back next week, and I'm not like my expectations aren't huge, but the bar has been raised, and when I come in, I'm like, all right, that was cool. Like this whole MVP and Bobby Lashley thing. Yep, I know it was done before, but
absolutely,
it's damn good. It's a lot better than Lashley and Lana. Yes. Let's put it that way.
That was a travesty.
But that's a travesty. But think about this, right? We can all admit to a couple things. 1, 3 hours is too much.
It really is.
Like that's an easy one. 3 hours is too much. Mm-hmm. And a 2-hour show would be tight. You can admit that a lot of the character development has been really poor for a while.
Oh yeah.
And over the course of this year in particular, it has improved significantly. And it really started improving with the Seth Rollins heel turn.
Yeah.
And that was something that really kind of set in motion a lot of other things around it. Because you had the Seth Rollins heel turn. You had the Samoa Joe rising and becoming that lead babyface, which he's been doing really well in as well. And those things, kind of those set pieces, along with this really slow burn of Aleister Black.
Slow? A dead fucking stop.
But I mean, but that's
what are you talking about? They blew every last opportunity they had at Money in the Bank.
Did they?
Yeah. They threw him off a friggin' roof.
Okay. But he was back the next day.
He lived though.
Yeah, exactly. You throw him off a roof. He's not hurt. He's not injured. He's back the next night on Raw. Where's the storyline to it? Where's the arc? We talked about it on the show. They should have had him come up on his plank from the roof, like his entrance, and then come back into the ladder match.
I will give you that.
But hold on.
Oh, we almost had Evan back.
This is always like wrestling pet peeve. I love this one. My favorite wrestling pet peeve is when we fantasy book ourselves into like being so angry at something that we don't think about like the way, like letting the story progress, right?
Yeah.
If the idea is that Aleister Black is, in my mind, and the way I think that they're pushing Aleister Black, they want him to become the next Undertaker. And that he's not as much a supernatural being as much as a force of nature. He has truthfully only lost one match ever. And that was the AJ
had
Styles.
2.
No, that's not true.
On Raw.
No, on Raw, he was.
Dude,
like,
he's been who's knocking at my door for 7 months.
No, that was months ago though.
Oh, where are you?
See, that shows how much I watch.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what you're missing is like every week on Raw, he was having these amazing.
I know he's an amazing. I know he's an amazing knockdown.
Wrestler. No, but that's every week.
I know how amazing Tommy End is in the ring. It's a matter of, are they actually going to do something with him or not? Because I catch clips of shit and I see the same stuff over and over again.
He just wrestled this Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been wrestling every week on Raw since before WrestleMania. And he's had like...
there's no one else there.
It still gives him the opportunity.
It's like Apollo. Listen, the whole Apollo Crews thing, I am happy he's champion. He's been there a long ass time. But if this pandemic...
He's been there 5 years.
That's a long time. What has he done? What has he done in those 5 years up until this U.S. title?
Well, hold on.
What has he done? But it's not his fault.
Well,
it's his booking.
I want to shift this. Wait. Hold on.
If all these guys that were supposed to be there, I guarantee you he would not have this U.S. title right now because he would not have been getting used the way he's being used now.
But here's the other part to that, right? Because I don't disagree with that overall point. But he's got it. And part of you getting his opportunity, because if Randy Orton doesn't give Ali a concussion, Kofi doesn't win the title, right?
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can't be like, if this doesn't happen, this thing doesn't happen, because it happened. So we gotta live with it. So here's my thing. Apollo didn't win a title in 5 years, but 5 years in wrestling isn't that long. 5 years with WWE isn't even that long. Like, think about this. People always remember like Austin 316 means I whipped your ass. Do you know how long it took Austin to win the title after he said that?
Fucking forever.
Yeah, it was like 2 years.
Yeah,
like, he didn't just win the title like the next pay-per-view.
But how long was he there before he said that? At least a good 2 to 3 years before he said that, because he was the ringmaster. he was there 2 years as the ringmaster, and then he did it.
And you know what? You know why he won that? Because Triple H got punished. Yeah. Because of the click shit. You see what I'm saying?
Because of the garden bullshit. Yeah.
Because of the garden shit. Because of the curtain call. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, people keep forgetting, like, sometimes things have to happen for you.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, sometimes things have to happen.
And sometimes you just have to bide your time. Like, we have to, we're sometimes, we as people, and this is one of the best parts about the independent circuit, we get a chance to go up to these guys. We see them every day. We see how hard they work in these small gymnasiums. We go up to their tables. We buy their merch. We shake their hands. We tell them how much they love us. When we hit them on Twitter, they respond to us.
Yeah.
Personal. Yeah.
They tell us how much they're thankful for us and that person. Fuck the rest of the shit. We're invested in that person, and we want to see them be successful. I watched Uha Nation in the San Jose Fairgrounds with 10 people at that Evolve show. Him, Tommy Yen, who I had never heard of in my entire life. Ricochet, who I had never heard of in my entire life. Brian Cage. Who I had never heard of in my entire life, and some promo I've ever heard on NXT yesterday, who's been in NXT for like 7 years now, who just got his first fucking video. When we think about it, right?
Yeah.
But these guys, I saw them all, and I was like, wow, these guys are really good. And you know what happened when WrestleMania 31 happened, and I walked into WrestleMania, and I saw those guys hanging out in front?
Oh, God, yeah. I'm sure there was like a huge.
They're like, where are you sitting? And I was like, oh yeah, us. And it was one of those like really weird things where I was like, oh yeah, you kind of remember like we're all just kind of people, right? Well, I was happy because Apollo Crews could have mailed in that match with Tommy Yen. And like I said, it was probably the best match I've seen this entire pandemic, either promotion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Raw match that they had. Oh, God.
Any promotion, if I'm being real. It's on
that was
TV
a great match.
To wrestle his ass off. It was a great match. And if you didn't see it, I encourage you to go back and watch it. It's on Hulu, whatever. Go back and watch.
Oh, yeah, believe me, that night, I watched it twice.
Yes.
Because I have YouTube TV. So I watched it live in the discussion thread and then went back on YouTube TV, went to that match and played it again.
Yes.
It was that good.
It was that good. And it was worth watching. And I contend that match opened up more. And then he went back out the next week and he wrestled his ass off again. Then he went back out again. They took him out of the Money in the Bank. Everybody kind of panicked. And then he came back the next week. He wrestled again and then he got the title. So they saw something in him. And now they're giving him a shot. And that's all you can ask for. As a fan, that's all I can ask for.
Right. Right, exactly. And you're right. It's like sometimes people make an opportunity. Sometimes
I want to see MVP. It's put in front of you. And if it took a pandemic for Apollo Crews to get an opportunity, that's fine. If it took a pandemic for them to realize that Bobby Lashley and MVP needed to be put together and to get him away from Lana, fine.
Right.
If it took a fucking pandemic for AEW to realize that we need a couple of black guys on our fucking around to make this shit work, that's fine. I'm glad they brought in Lee Johnson. I'm glad they gave a couple of these guys chances to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see more people win. I want to see better storylines. And I'm hopeful that what they're doing right now, they take it with them moving forward and that we get a chance to continue to see this. What I don't want to see is that when crowds come back in and they're having to sell tickets, that people go, I don't want to see these guys anymore. Because Austin Theory, who I fucking love, I got a fucking song called The Limit Breaker.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Austin Theory, look, man.
Austin's Theory.
Listen, do you remember I told you guys about that guy that I choked out in Orlando?
Yeah.
So I ended up across the street eating pancakes with Austin Theory and Sammy Guevara after that,
the Cuban God. All right.
Yeah, like before he was that. Like I was over.
Back when he was rocking panda crap.
When he still was doing the Goku and the panda thing.
Yeah.
I'm straight out of Perkins eating panda with them, talking about nugget porn, not knowing what the hell they were talking about. Like, look, man, it was wild times. But that's my point. Like, I'm invested in these guys. Like, I have these cool fucking stories, and when I see these guys, I remember these things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Progress guys, I followed the Progress guys all around the United States. So I'm invested in them. Matt Riddle is my fucking bro. I smoke weed with Matt Riddle on the West Coast. You know what I mean? Bro. Like, he's my bro. Like, I want to see Riddle win. Yes. So I have to accept, if this is the system he wants to be in, I know there's going to be times where I'm going to be frustrated that he's not going to be pushed as hard as I want him to be pushed. He's going to lose some matches that I think that he should win. But I also have to be willing to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, if in a year's time, if he's jobbing out to, I don't know, Shorty G, apologies to Chad Gable, who I love, but if he's jobbing out to Shorty G in like 30 seconds, now there's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he's consistently in like the IC picture, if he's consistently in the main event picture, like people were getting on like Ricochet shit, like, oh, Ricochet should leave and go to AEW for what? Like Ricochet he's a US champ.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't he help eliminate Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble? He got
him that shot in Saudi Arabia too.
You're right. The shot in Saudi Arabia, match, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, well,
so you can't.
It was longer than Kofi. Let's be real.
Look, and to keep it a buck, you can't have it both ways. Arabia didn't count, but then be like, it's only 10 seconds. You see what I'm saying? That goes back to that idea of fallacy. You can't be like, well, the Saudi Arabia shit doesn't count, but it's only 10 seconds, so it doesn't counter even worse. It's a generalization.
No, that's what I was saying. Like it might have been 10 seconds, but that was probably 2 more seconds than Kofi lasted with Brock. Yeah. So you can't really complain because that's just what Brock does.
And even more right, but even more important for Ricochet, that's a moment for him. Yeah. Because guess what? As a person, I'm talking about Trevor as the person now.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Eagle. Shout out to the Eagles fan, Trevor Man. You know what I mean? Go Birds.
Yes, fly Eagles, fly.
Like,
damn it.
These are moments for him that matter. You know, we as fans go, he only wrestled Brock Lesnar for 10 seconds, but for him, he goes, yo, I got to wrestle Brock Lesnar. I got to step in the ring with this guy.
Right.
No matter how long it was. You know? Yeah, I got a universal title match, and he knows now he gets to wrestle with his good friend, with Cedric Alexander, and like I get to do this tag team thing for a while. Yeah. I know when my time comes back, I'm going to get another push if I do this tag team thing right. He already knows Paul Heyman is going to treat him properly because Paul Heyman likes those type of wrestlers.
Right.
Like,
no, he really does.
Man.
And honestly, like Ricochet got a title match. Cool. If you go back and you look, like, yeah, Ron Simmons was the first like WCW champion that was black. Did he ever get a WWE title match?
Nope.
His tag partner did, but he didn't. You know, there's a lot of guys that came through WWE that were big in other places that were African American, and they never got a title shot. So if guys like Ricochet get one or Kofi get one, it shows progress. And not only that, a lot of guys can't say that.
So
I don't care if it lasted
years.
It damn near did. I mean, with Ron Simmons, it was like he was a champ in the 80s, and then he came to WWE, and then
the fact that even Eddie Guerrero was given a chance and had that title, even that was miraculous, and not have some sort of horribly stereotypical gimmick. You know, like he was able to be himself.
Right.
Like that was a big step right there.
Yeah, he was able to keep like true to his gimmick and himself.
Think about
which
this
was cool
shit
too.
People, as soon as Kofi won that title, there was 1 million people, and I say 1 million, but I'm using hyperbole. But there were people on Twitter, on the internet, who were immediately trying to tell him how he should carry himself as a champion.
Right.
Because again, this goes back to everybody trying to fantasy book the show. And I'm telling you, the worst thing that WWE ever did was tell everybody that they listened to the fans.
Yeah.
Because
but we all know that's not true.
No, it is, because you know why?
Because we had all of them in the ring like a year or so ago say, we're going to listen to you, give you what you want, and then they just went and did their own shit.
But you know the issue? You know when because look, they should have stuck to their guns and let Daniel Bryan wrestle Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As soon as they changed course at WrestleMania 30, and mind you, this is my favorite. That's my first WrestleMania, my first one I got to see live. It's one of my favorite moments. I have it on my wall back over here. I have the. Come on. I'm obviously I'm calling my bias, but when they did that, they changed course. It changed everything, because that's when fans started hijacking their shows. That's when fans started turning on shows in droves. That's when you started having these wishy-washy crowds. That's when you started, and it's going week to week, where now you can't even have people go, well, they haven't, why hasn't this happened? Why haven't they pulled the trigger on this? And I'm like, you guys aren't even used to a 2 to 3 month storyline anymore.
Right.
You guys aren't even used to a 2-week story anymore. Like, if this thing doesn't happen for you at the end of the night, like, you're pissed off. Why didn't they do this thing that I wanted them to do now?
And
I have
to
this
be honest,
out in my head. And I'm like, listen to Brian Alvarez or one of these fucking assholes tell you how they should run their $1 billion business.
Right.
And I'm like, Brian Alvarez, you can't even run the fucking ropes right. And you're sitting here trying to explain to somebody.
So honestly,
the art of storytelling in wrestling has been lost because of these demands that the fans are making.
Right.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that people seem to have a problem with AEW that I don't. They're like, oh, they drag these storylines out because they only have pay-per-views and this and that. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm used to that. That's what I want. I want to see like a 3 or 4 month storyline come to a head at a major show instead of them just trying to cram something in every couple of weeks to get to the next pay-per-view. You know, it's not only like, 3 hours is too much. A pay-per-view every 2-3 weeks, a little too much. I don't care if you have 2 brands. I don't care whatever you say. 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going back into another big show is a little too fast. And I like AEW for the reason that they'll take a story and they'll drag it out for a couple of months and get you to a pay-per-view and let it come to a head and let you kind of just sit there, wait and watch it unfold. And be like, okay, where's this going to go? Or like, who's going to get involved? Or this going to happen? Maybe this guy will take the title, even the whole thing with like, if Cody loses, he can't get in the title picture again. I'm like, oh shit, like that's a big deal. They even got that now with like Dream and Cole coming up at Takeover. If Dream loses, it's like, well, as long as he's got that belt, you don't get another shot. That makes it feel like bigger stakes, big fight feel, kind of like a pay-per-view should, as opposed to, oh well, this is just another show leading up to another pay-per-view, leading up to another pay-per-view. I was surprised when Money in the Bank was 2.5 hours long. I figured, here we go with another 4-hour show. I'm gonna be sitting here like, can we end this already? I gotta go to work.
But see, that's what makes and that goes back to that's what makes takeovers so great. 5 matches, 2-hour card. Every single match that happens at a takeover feels important. They get more than enough time to breathe.
Mm-hmm. And it always seems to come off as like a 5-star match, no matter what the match is. It always seems to come off that way. It gives you that big fight feel. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And then WWE pay-per-views, it's like, oh, like when they had Takeover and the big show, we always said like after Takeover, like, man, how's WWE going to top this? And the next night we were like, guess they can't.
That's why they started moving Takeover around a little bit. They were trying to give a little more time before that big show. I mean, but that's what I mean, right? Like, you would hope that with the amount of time that they have now, and I don't see it happening, but you would hope that somebody is looking at some of the business practices that they've had that are honestly and quite frankly, their Attitude Era business practices when they were running Max, hot and heavy. Every building was a sellout. you know, you could maximize every single minute of every single second, every single show. You're to the rafters. You had the 2 hottest acts in wrestling. You know, hey, I could sell a $50 pay-per-view every month because I could. You can't anymore. You have a $9 network or a $10 network, whatever. You know, and $9.99. You know, and truthfully, your competition is getting beaten out by Guy Fieri. It's not really competition, you know. And it's always funny. People talk about like the ratings numbers between like NXT and AEW, but like Lego Masters was pulling like 3 million on Wednesdays.
Right.
AEW and NXT were pulling.
Shout out to Lego Masters.
Yo, Lego Masters.
Love Lego Masters.
Listen,
that shit is cool.
That shit was cool as fuck. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, Lego Masters is kind of fucking cool.
It is. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, how dare you bring that up on the show? No, it really is.
As a guy with the wall of Funko Pops in his house. I'm just gonna say.
All of us. Like if I turn my background off, I got Pops everywhere. They're on one wall, the other wall, the shelf. They're everywhere.
Let me see. Let me do a quick number check, man. How many you got in your house? Guesstimate.
Almost 100.
Okay, Wendy.
Oh, I don't even know. But I keep most of mine in my office. But most of mine are like She-Hulk and like mostly, you know, badass ladies because that's who I am.
All right.
I got about 80, 70, something like that. I don't know.
All right.
I can check my.
I know you got like a whole library behind you. You started like season 1 all the way through.
Bro, I look, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna lose my street cred if I give my number.
You had street cred since when?
You guys can't really
last I checked, because like the 280 range.
280. Wow.
280.
I'm pushing.
That's what's
up. That. I got a give or take. I think the last time I counted, it's around like 320, give or take. So I've got like my WWE
are like,
stuff.
They flow like every bedroom, the hallway has them.
Yep.
They're like it's a part of life. It's a way
like
of life.
I know I have at least 100, and then my wife has a bunch too because she's into like Mother's Day. I got her the Baby Yoda pop, and she didn't know, and she came home, and it was just sitting on the bed, and she like grabbed it and hugged it, and she was like, "You're the best."
Absolutely, look, man, a nice solid Funko Pop, man.
Goes a long way.
Like we give each other pops on like every occasion, like anniversary pops, Mother's Day pops, Father's Day pops, and they just keep piling up. So it's like I know I have 100, but I don't know how many she has at this point.
Oh, nice.
But you know what?
Like group collection, maybe 250. You know,
good stuff.
Taking a step back to the Lego discussion, how has WWE not like they had those like mega bricks or something, the slam bricks a few years back? But how has WWE not jumped on that Lego the market? They got Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel, DC.
Much better.
How do we not have like a legit Lego Hulkamania set, WrestleMania?
Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Maybe not Hulkamania. Just maybe not. Bad example, dude.
Terry Boyella.
Like Eddie Guerrero.
But I get your point. Yes.
It's not Hulk Hogan.
But no marketability.
No, you're right.
No, you're right, but I'm with Scorsese here. Fuck Hulk Hogan. I didn't even like him back in his heyday, so fuck Hulk Hogan.
I would have. No, look, man. I was a vitamin taker. I was a prayer player.
It was
not me. Like
my vegetable.
It was
WrestleMania
eater. Shocking.
Like WrestleMania 6 when they had the Ultimate Challenge. I was rooting for the Ultimate Warrior. I'm not even.
Can I say though?
You should dress like him for Halloween and everything.
Watching all of these Dark Side of the Ring episodes when they show clips of like old Hogan matches, I'm like, has Hogan always been old?
Yeah.
He's always been bald.
The Royce took it all.
It was like going, and it's just like he was old. He just gets
never had hair.
Yep, he never had
his
hair.
His hair was like going.
Was
yep.
Right? I'm like, I don't remember him being this.
But
and then
you know
what?
what?
He was always old.
How about that for a Dark Side of the Ring? They got picked up for season 3. How about we get like a Gawker Hogan trial episode?
Ooh.
That's controversial.
They did a whole documentary on that already.
Oh, did
They
they?
did actually.
It doesn't even
not Vice.
It doesn't even seem like that matters for Dark Side of the Ring. You know, they've done a lot of stuff that's like already been covered ad nauseum.
Here's my question: are they gonna do? Because they covered a lot of like, obviously a lot of the WWE stuff is gonna get a ton of easy pull.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they going to pull? Because I'm thinking, obviously, you're thinking like the Tessa Blanchard situation from last year.
Yeah.
More recent stuff.
Yeah, the more recent stuff, especially like a lot of the indie stuff.
The Enzo. What about the Enzo?
The Enzo.
Yes.
That whole controversy with the Miss Fantasia, whatever she was, with her allegations, ruined his career.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What about
not that he wasn't helping, but still.
Elgin, Michael Elgin, Big Mike.
No, his
Big Mike, yes.
Blackball from a lot of promotions.
Yep. He lost it. We went out to me and Renee went out to St. Louis for Glory Pro when they originally had announced they were bringing over Naito.
Oh.
And remember Naito, he was doing a 2-spot. He was doing AEW in Chicago. And then he was doing Glory Pro. And we had bought tickets for that show. And then the whole Michael Elgin thing came out. And so he, of course, he wrestled the show in Chicago because they refused to take him off the card. So everybody at the show turned around and didn't watch the match.
Wow.
And Naito was so pissed off. He was like, if you show up at the next stop and that happens, I'm going to kill you in the ring.
Damn.
And understand Elgin owns Glory Pro.
Yeah.
So he couldn't show up. So he ended up, Naito ends up wrestling AR Fox, which was a really good match. But
yeah, AR Fox is tremendous too.
Yeah.
I didn't really catch up on, I didn't really know about him until Lucha Underground. And then I went back and started looking him up and I was like, holy shit.
Listen, AR's he's the homie too. Really good dude.
Oh, cool.
Really good dude, man. So you guys and I think Wendy can attest to this, man. One thing I'm really I reach out to a lot of these wrestlers. I do a lot of music for them. Stokely Hathaway, for example, I actually did his walkout music. It was a song he did called "Blood on the King's Sleeve." So it was the music whenever he came to the ring would play. So it was always a kind of a thrill. Whenever we would play, like I would hear myself and people go, "Wow, what's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's me," you know.
That's me. That's why I thought maybe you'd like the intro.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm definitely when you guys when we get done with this, I'm gonna sit down. I gotta write one for Top Rope.
We were gonna ask. We didn't know. You know.
No, definitely. I got my recording equipment upstairs. Like with,
I'm not gonna lie. When we found out you were coming on, and Wendy and I had kind of set it up, and then we told these guys. They both went, "You think he'll do a song for us? I was like, "Yo, calm down. Like, let's let the interview happen, and then maybe off camera we'll ask him." But then, you know,
you guys should have asked me earlier. I would have done it before then. That was nothing.
Oh, you know, I mean,
then everybody else I got to charge, but you guys are cool, man. For Wendy, Wendy's it's only because Wendy's here. Like anybody else.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Like that's the only reason anybody watches. They love Grandma Wendy. They just want to see Grandma Wendy.
Wendy's your secret weapon. So
we get no views when she doesn't show up. Believe me, none.
That's not true. We get like one. It's probably from me.
And your mom. Your mom is such a sweetheart.
Yeah, mom does watch.
Shout out to Mama Wendy, Mama B. But yeah, I mean that. But that does, you know. Now that we're talking about it, I gotta ask because I've heard people here, there, like in hip hop, kind of just throw a wrestling reference. What gave you the idea of like, you know what? I'm just gonna make albums on this stuff. I'm gonna come up with all, you know, in the beats, in the lyrics, because there are some great. You got some great fucking tracks. I'm not even saying that just because you're here. Like I've been listening to them for weeks now.
Well, thank you. So it was actually you know, I started making music when I was around like 18, 19, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. Once I left college, I was kind of managing some different groups, And then I kind of struck out on my own, started making some music with my crew called the Zip Squad. The zip file, we're kind of sending back and forth. We're kind of scattered all over the place. And the crew was like, yo, we're going to start doing solo projects. And I was like, I don't want to do a solo project. I don't really have an idea. This is going to suck. And I was kind of scrolling through my Twitter page, and one of my friends had posted the promo from the 2-Man Power Trip. And it was the Triple H promo he was cutting after Triple H and Triple H had beat up Triple H and Austin had beat up Lita. The one he was like, everything belongs to us, and he's kind of going off or whatever. And that usual Triple H voice,
like his best William Shatner impression. I swear to God.
Absolutely, every that weird like 3-second Memphis voice he was always doing.
Right, all Trekkies know what I'm talking about. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I'm sorry.
But I heard it and I was like, holy shit, this sounds like a really dope like rap sample, like I want to sample this in a rap song. And it wouldn't leave my head. And I have ADD, if you guys haven't noticed this already. I'm all over the place.
Oh, you don't care.
Yeah, hey,
You too.
I'm always a believer, like if I sleep on something and I remember it the next day, it's a good idea. If I don't, it wasn't.
Right.
So I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I couldn't get this promo out of my head. So I was like, I got to reach out to my producer and kind of kick the idea to him. And I was like, yo, his name is Michael. I call him Lito. Lives down in the Cayman Islands. I was like, yo, Lito, I need you to send me some beats. I got this idea for a song. Just send me some stuff that you got. And he sent me these beats. And I ended up writing this joint. It's called The Promo. It's actually on 2-Man Power Trip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually it's the promo that I use for it. And I was like, yo, I sent it back to him and I was like, yo, what would you think about hopping on this? And he was like, yo, I'll do it. And he wrote it and he sent it back. And I was like, man, this is so dope. And I was getting ready to go to to WrestleMania. And I was like, yo, I'm going to do an EP. I don't want to do a whole project. So maybe if I do like 3 songs and I'm going to find like 2 more like 2-Man Power Trip promos, and I'm going to name it the 2-Man Power Trip. And I started like diving into like the promos, and everybody always talks about like the Attitude Era, right? Bring the Attitude Era back. Bring the Attitude Era back. Bring the Attitude Era back.
Right.
Everybody has forgotten the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era fucking sucks. We remember the main event stuff. We remember the big like set piece shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fucked up time.
Yeah,
it really was.
It really was.
The Attitude Era is like a Jerry Bruckheimer film. You remember the big explosions?
Yes.
And like the ending stuff, you remember the one-liners and the zingers.
And you're like, but what was the plot again?
Yes, exactly.
Like Batman and Robin all over again.
Correct.
Yep.
You forget most of that
nipples
shit.
and everything, dude. The nipples on the suit.
Oh.
Last thing.
You forget Katie Vick and the hand and sexual chocolate and all the
pee-pee.
Yes.
Yes,
oh
we were
God.
talking about that the other day.
Choppy.
Poor Val Venus.
Poor Val.
You
know, I mean, at least he got to sex up Shamrock's sister before he got choppy.
I was about to say saving Ryan's
privates. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
hello,
ladies. Oh yeah. Yeah, super cringe. I mean, yeah.
I need a shower just saying it.
Marlena's miscarriage. And look, it's bad. Yeah, I know.
The whole thing.
Look, it's bad. But I mean, one thing I remember, I was going through and I was like, wow, like Austin and Triple H, I was like, man, they're cutting some of like their best fucking promos. Like that was like what was kind of like capturing me. It was actually harder for me to like not like, I was like, man, I don't know what promos to use because I kept finding so many good ones. Like the promo, like JR kind of getting Austin to kind of explain like why he turned heel and, like when the Undertaker gets involved and Kane getting his arm broken and Edge and Christian getting involved and the Hardy Boy, tons of stuff. And so I was like, it reminded me a lot of like a crime movie, like a mob movie.
Right.
Like Austin like committed this crime and he's slowly like spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
And so
kind
I
of
was
like Henry Hill at Goodfellas.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Okay.
That was exactly the idea. It was like, this feels like Goodfellas.
Right.
You know,
no, I get it.
Austin gets a taste of the bad life and he meets the elderly. He meets Al Pacino, Vince McMahon, and Joe Pesci, of course, is Triple H. And he just slowly cycles into like this life of violence.
Keep on more and more and more.
Correct. Until he falls apart.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, what if I make an album based around this, the two-man power trip, this entire concept? And so me and my producers just sat down with the idea and I was like, I'm going to use nothing but these samples. I want you to give me like these really like mafioso style beats, you know, heavy drums, you know, samples. We're just going to kind of build it. And that's what we did. And, you know, if you listen to Two Man Power Trip, that's really what you hear, right?
Which I have, and you do. Oh, no, thank you.
and that was really the genesis. And for the art, I was really thinking about Only Built for Cuban Links, which is the Wu-Tang.
Raekwon. Yeah.
Raekwon the Chef, which is, of course, that was him doing the same like mafioso style stuff. That was, you know, him and Ghostface.
Oh yeah, all this Costa Nostra and everything in it. Yeah, I remember.
Correct.
I had the purple cassette back in the day.
Yeah, and that's actually when I first made the project, I was gonna make tapes, and I was actually gonna do a purple tape with it. Yeah, and because I did it, I released it on my Bandcamp, and it did really well. A lot of people loved it, and they were like, "Yo, this is the first time we really heard this," and I was like, "Wow, I'm gonna kind of keep doing this." And that kind of just led me down a path of like I want to kind of keep like interspersing like what I love, because it was like a weird time, because a lot of people like as a black like wrestling fan, man, like I caught a lot of shit, which was weird. People like, yo, why do you watch this shit? Like, you know it's fake, which is always like the funniest thing. You know it's fake, right? I'm like, you watch Love and Hip Hop. Get the fuck out of my face. Like, what do you mean?
I made one of those. I made up one of those memes for our group where it had all these shows like The Walking Dead, you know, Love and Hip Hop, and just said fake. God. So why the fuck are you bothering me with my wrestling? And then
like the difference between you and I is like I know the shit I'm watching is fake,
right?
And I'm enjoying it. Like, what the fuck? But it used to drive me crazy, and so like the comments I would get back from like Two Man Power Trip was like, yo, like you made it really cool for me to enjoy like rap and wrestling, and like, you know, so it was really like kind of fulfilling from that standpoint. And I watched a lot of people like take a lot of my ideas and concepts, and so I was like, well, if you're gonna steal my shit, I got to make better shit, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I went in the Zip Squad, we made like our Black superhero music album, and then I really kind of started working on like this personal project called A World Only Gods Know, which today really kind of sat heavy on me. A song I did called A World Only Gods Know, I wrote the day that Philando Castile was murdered, actually. And, you know, one of the lines I wrote in it was, you know, like one traffic stop and now I'm a hashtag, you know what I mean? You know, and it says like, you know, it's a shame, it's a crime being a black man. And I, you know, there's an irony that song is now it's like 6 years old and it's still really relevant. And, you know, sad. I moved to the Dream Team, you know, this new project with Jason Griff that we just did. I met Stokely. I met Stokely. I ran into Stokely in Joppa, actually. Was the first time I ran into him. And I bought his old Dream Team shirt, the original Dream Team shirt. So I got floating around the house. Yeah.
Wow.
And we kind of would meet each other. I met him again in Orlando, and I was like, yo, I would love to write a song for you, you know, like an opening record. And he was like, yo, that would be really dope. And I wrote this record, and I wrote a song I did on The World Only Gods Know called 4 a.m. in Dallas. He heard it, and he was like, yo, can I use this for one of my Evolve videos? You know, because, you know, Stokely is really big in like his media and how he presents himself. So he took the song and he interwove it into like his little ESPN 30 for 30 video he did, which was a really dope look. A lot of people heard it and kind of followed me from there.
Right.
And then we just kind of built, and he was like, yo, what if you did like a mixtape for me? And I was like, yo, that would be really dope. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's easy, you know? And so I was like, yo, what is the dream team? And he's like, yo, the dream team is like wealth and it's opulence and it's, you know, over the top. And I was like, he was like, if you could break it down to me in like a word. He's like, yo, it's like Rick Ross meets Outkast. I was like, oh, that's easy. And so that's what I wrote, you know. I did a couple of like freestyles and some other stuff. And I happened to meet Jason Griff, a producer. And he was like, yo, what if I take this stuff and I make like original music out of it? And from there, we were like, what if we made Dream Team into an ode to the manager, you know, like Bobby Heenan and Slick.
Classy Freddie Blassie.
Classy Freddie Blassie, the Pencil Neck Geeks.
I was just about to say that, yes.
Yeah, you know, I mean, because the manager to me is both like now is like criminally underappreciated.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
that was Percy just dipping in the background right there.
criminally, you know, underappreciated. And so I wanted to create like something that you could kind of be proud of. And even when I thought about like the art, and if you look at like the front cover of the Dream Team, you know, it's Stokely surrounded by like all these legends of rap. It's, you know, it's like Rakim, and it's Raekwon, wrap it back around to Two Man Power Trip, you know,
right?
And it's Big Daddy Kane, you know. And I originally had a song on there for MGF called Burberry Scarves. I scrapped it once, you know, Dream Team stopped. He stopped rocking with them.
Bruce would have loved that one.
I'll send it to you guys. I'll send it to you.
He's the biggest MJF mark you'll ever meet.
Oh my god.
So listen, MA, he won't tell you on the timeline or anything, but MJF loved the song because I sent it to him personally. He told me, he said two things. He said, I love the song, but I hate you for writing it.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds about right. And I love the fact that that MJF refuses to break character, and that's why I love him.
I do too.
And
it's still alive.
Bruce, though, I'm not even gonna lie.
Listen, it's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah. That man is keeping kayfabe alive by himself.
Absolutely.
I feel kind of bad for Wardlow whenever they have like fan interactions because he's such a nice guy. Like, because I went back and I watched a whole bunch of old videos of his and like creeped on his Insta because I'm a creep like that. And he's like genuinely a nice guy, you know. And then he's stuck doing these fan things with someone who's like an asshole through and through, just like F your kid, you know. And he's just like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like
you can tell he just wants to say, I'm sorry, I'm stuck with a douche.
If we gotta be really real, I think Wendy watches Dynamite for Wardlow because that's just one of them people that she just she's like she sees Wardlow and all of a sudden you get this message that just says,
I'm touching myself tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I love me some Wardlow. What can I say? I just don't like that fake tan though.
I swear to God, if I had
down and towel them off nice and slowly, you know.
If I had like
get rid of that fake tan.
If I had a penny for every time we were like up in an AEW discussion thread, pay-per-view or otherwise, and I saw hashtag damn daddy when Wardlow came up on the screen, I wouldn't have to go back to work ever again.
Darth Wendy, you just know that Wardlow Luchasaurus match is going to be the worst match in like history.
Know. Oh my God, it's gonna be.
I really just hope they tease that match for the next 10 years until they're both.
I do too.
Because it's going to, you know it, and I know it, and we all know it, and it's fine if they just tease it. Just they can stare at each other for years.
You can tease us. You don't have to please us. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be fine. We can deal.
But yeah, but since then, you know, I did the Catch Point project. And then, you know, I've been working with another crew of MCs called the Nation Gang, the offshoot of Nation of Domination. We did a little mixtape called Domination, and now we actually got our album called Domination that we're getting ready to drop pretty soon. So supremely excited, man. Just kind of wanted to continue like the idea of like doing the thing you love with the thing that you love. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just blending those ideas together. But yeah.
No, I hear you. And like I said, I don't think I've ever heard anybody kind of put wrestling into hip hop the way you have. And it's such a cool concept, and it comes out so nice and so naturally. Like, even my son makes me play every version of that Third Man from Catch Point. Like, here comes the NWO, here comes the Wolfpack. Okay, you want to hear the NWO again? Like he's just upset. He's 9, and he just thinks it's the coolest thing ever. Like, he'll just sit there nodding his head, and I'm like, this little fool was born in the South, and he looks straight up gangster right now. Like, he's leaning on the couch, nodding his head with his cup, just sipping on some juice, like just straight up thug. I'm like, how did that
happen? So listen, like, so the first Third Man, and it's funny, like originally when we were thinking about like the Third Man, I wanted to get Big Daddy Kane on the song, actually.
Oh.
One of the people I work with, one of my little side gigs, he's a DJ for Big Daddy Kane. Okay. And I wanted the Third Man because, the Third Man was supposed to be a secret, right? And when I was thinking of the song idea, I was like, I want to be somebody that nobody would expect. And I was like, man, like the original like album cover was actually Big Daddy Kane in the back of the limo. It's like this really dope, like old school picture of Kane posted up in like the back of this limo with like a couple of ladies on it. It's like an old like 80s style limo, really ill. Like,
I think I had that album.
Yeah, super ill like picture, right?
Right.
And I was like, man, I would do anything to get Kane on this record. And so we kind of reached out to him. He heard it. He was like, yeah, like I'm down to do it. We're kind of like talking the price. And I was like, yeah, I can do that price. I'll make it happen. And then he kind of started waffling, and it kind of got weird. Oh. I know. And I was like, man, I don't got time for this. I'm not the type of person that would get mad if you said no, because a no is a no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like be straight up.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. But like doing the thing where it's like I had a deadline to meet. Like, I want to get my project out at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
We had already had like our merch orders fulfilled. We had done those little cool like ceramic figures. I had to get them out. And I was like, man, okay, I gotta scrap it. So I circled back to these two dope MCs up in Philadelphia, Curly Castro and Zilla Rocca from the Wrecking Crew. Shout out to them. And I was just like, yo, what do you think about this? Now, Castro is a wrestling fan. He actually rapped first on there. And he's the one, my favorite line on the whole record, I rock a Sting mask underneath
the Sting mask.
Oh man, listen.
I know, I heard that for the first time and I was like, I'm done.
I heard that and I instantly like flashback to that moment.
Yes, greatest line in a hip hop song ever. I'm done.
I rarely get furious at like a rap song where it's like, why didn't I think of that?
Or I gotta follow that.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even like my verse was already done. You know what I mean? So
okay.
Part of me was like, I want to go back and rewrite it, but I really like my verse. And I was just, my only thing was like, fuck, that was a good ass line.
And like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, it was like, and that was where I was. I was like, why did I think of that?
No, it's like you listen to other wrestling, like I listen to other wrestling podcasts and I hear them talking about something and they came up with something that just seems like it'd be perfect for the show. And I'm like, fuck, man, how come we didn't think of that?
Correct. And that's
like, we would have done it better,
and it was such a dope line. And and that's why I said, I was like, he has to go first. Like I had to put his verse first. Zilla's verse is really dope too. And then, I had to come in, and that's why I said I didn't want to change my verse, because I did the dope little Jeff Hardy concerto scheme in between it with Edge and Christian. And I was like, man, I don't want to change this. I really like how it sounds. And so I kept it. And then for the remix, I was like, I got to get Quote Chris, really dope MC out of New York. And again, I was like, I got to do my verse. And actually all that yelling you hear me doing at the end, like I did my verse in one take. And like, I was so excited. I was like, what the fuck? And the engineer kept it, and I was like, "Yo, delete that." He was like, "I'm not deleting that. That's fucking
no,
great."
That's going on.
he's like, "That's all staying." Well, it's always interesting, and because I kind of begged him, I was like, "No, take it off, take it off." He's like, "No, it's staying," and I was like, "No, seriously, take it off." He was like, "No." He's like, "Why do you want to take it off?" And I was like, "Because it sounds like really arrogant."
Yeah.
And he was like,
"So
you're a rapper, so
yeah, you're an MC. Like that's in your job description, you know."
It's a weird thing, like, and we kind of talked like even today about that, right? Like, I don't really consider myself like an arrogant person. I'm confident as fuck.
Yeah,
but I'm not like arrogant.
No.
Yeah, there's a difference.
And yeah, there's a difference. Like I believe in myself, and I know I'm good at. I know I'm a good rapper. I know I'm a good MC, and I believe in my skills. But I've never really like vocalized it like in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I really like, just kind of like yelled it out like that. And he was just like, "No, keep it." He's like, "Dude, like you're fucking dope. And that's a really dope verse. And you followed 2 really dope MCs and you crushed them."
Yeah, at that point you keep it.
Yeah. And as soon as he said that, I was like, he's right. And since then, and since all the other stuff that I've done since then, like I really kind of like held on to the mentality of like, no, like I don't gotta keep telling these motherfuckers like, I'm all right, I'm cool. I can tell them like, no, motherfucker, I'm dope as shit. And you gotta deal with me now. Like it's different when you're like, yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, you're dope. I'm dope. Everybody's dope. No, motherfucker, I'm way better than you. And now you gotta deal with me. You know what I mean?
Now you got your like MJF going. Like I'm better than you.
Yeah, the monster is loose, friend.
Right?
Yeah, like no, that's exactly it. Like now when you know it, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like when you can finally like say that out loud, it's so fucking fulfilling when it goes beyond like the false bravado to like that feeling of empowerment. You know what I mean? And it's man, like it's so fucking powerful. Like I got this project. I'm plugging shit now. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I got me and all right. So me and Griff, we're working on this new thing we got going. It'll be officially announced on like June 20th. But we have like a couple of projects that are coming really soon. Griff and I, our newest project is called Midnight Express. The concept, of course, is based not on Jim Cornette, because I know we all hate Jim Cornette.
No, I was going to say, are you going to be Beautiful Bobby or Stan Lee?
I mean, I'm beautiful.
I'm sorry,
I'm beautiful Scorsese.
There you go, Scorsese,
beautiful. But it is a concept based on like the idea of the Midnight. So for those who don't know, the Midnight Express, of course, was based on Jim Cornette as the manager and either Stan Lee or Bobby, and then the rotating cast of like the third person. And so Midnight Express is me and a guest artist on every song, and I'm kind of like rotating through like a series of guests. Really dope. It is truthfully like me and Griff's like best work. It's 9 songs. I am like really excited for you guys to hear it. I'm very excited. First single, man, I'll send you guys something. The very first single is entitled Marvel vs. DC. It features the Honeys of Rocco. Yeah.
If it's Marvel versus DC, I might have to put it on my geek show. I'm not gonna lie.
No, look, I will listen. I will let you. I will let you premiere it on your show if you do me a favor. Give me if you can hold it, just save it at least until the 9th, until the 20th.
Oh yeah, not before then. I'm just saying. When it comes out, I gotta, because I do a show called Mutant Rejects where we talk about like Marvel, X-Men, all kinds of projects, DC shows, the works, and so like that would be like.
You will love this. You'll love this record. And this is, man, we geeked out on this record, really heavy. But But yeah,
I like that too, because you guys like geek out in your songs as well. Like you hear stuff about like
Absolutely.
Wakanda and Casey Jones and the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I even heard like a Duncan Penderhughes reference, and I was like, who the hell else knows about Class Act that isn't me? You know,
Absolutely. See, that's
Kid and Play,
that's
baby, with
something-
the giant.
Pete, though, that's one of the biggest. I've always like I felt like that stereotype has always needed to be broken. Like this idea. So for me, like people need to understand, man. I'm from 54th and Tasker, Philadelphia. I grew up poor. I grew up. You know what I mean? I've been stabbed. I'm not even supposed to be here if I'm being real with you. But
yeah, that kind of makes.
I've you know what I mean? But I've graduated from college. I have a master's degree. You know what I mean? I've seen both sides of everything. So I have a right to talk about the things I talk about. I'm also a fucking nerd, man. I got fucking Dragon Ball Z pops all over my house and the fucking Coochie Kopi from, you know what I mean? Like I love the shit that I do, and the shit that I love is the things that I do. You know what I mean? So
exactly. That's why I do this.
And that's why I love all this shit, man. And I enjoy it. I feel like if you're not living your life to the fullest, then you're not really living life. Because at the end of the day, we all got to go to the same place, and that may be not.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't enjoyed it, what else you got?
When it comes when it comes to hip hop, you know, it's only good when it's genuine, when it's real, when people are talking about things that they went through or things that they are passionate about, and your shit genuine, like that you can hear it. Like even when I was listening to it, I was like, man, he might have grown up in my neighborhood, and I grew up on 59th, so damn close.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean. Like, so you gotta, man. I just always want to make sure it's authentic and it's fun, and you know what I mean. Like, you get it and you listen, and you're like, man, this is crazy. But Midnight Express, man, 9 songs. I want y'all to enjoy that. The other project, East Hampton Polo Boys, the first single for that is called Return of Kenshin Liger. Again, going back to those, yeah, man. I did it with the homie Panels out in LA. I recorded it right before the pandemic. So I actually got a chance to record it all out there. You'll actually see the video and that song. I'll send that to you guys too, so you can take a listen to it.
Sweet.
I think you guys will dig that as well. Yeah, you guys, I'll make sure you guys get some stuff from me, man, as a thank you for all of this. But
I appreciate it. And honestly, the pleasure's ours, you know.
This shit has been a blast, man. Talking wrestling is difficult online because you got so many people who are they're not even entrenched in a position as much as they're assholes in a position.
We started calling them Muppets because that's what our British admin in Facebook, Hope, calls them. Like she's a very, you know, and apparently that's a big thing. Like they don't say assholes, they say Muppets.
I believe it.
I even had like, you know, when people were saying like, well, how could this person say this or how could this person say that when we're on the show? I'm like, because they're Muppets. Waka waka. No said.
But it's accurate. Like you just have these people who, you know, they would rather be divisive and live within this bubble than bring anybody into it and let you enjoy it.
Or let anybody tell them like different, because they might have they typically have the wrong idea in their head. And when you try to sit down and explain it to them or type something out, they just skip by it, or they say something stupid. They give you that okay boomer shit and move on. And it's like,
It's because they live in an echo chamber and they just want to hear their opinion reflected back to them. But it's not how it works.
A big group of sheep. Sometimes on Twitter, I see that in like threads underneath tweets. I just see like the sheep herding. Just
the new thing is the be kind and spread positivity, which has become the new euphemism for I don't want to hear anything, an opinion to what I believe. Like it goes back to the Shazam
over for it is what it is, because that was the big dismissal. You know, you get in and somebody just be like, well, it is what it is.
Go to the Shazam McKenzie thing. so I don't know if you guys know him, Cameron Seahawk. One of my he's actually a close friend of mine.
Okay.
And so if you guys don't know, so Shazza McKenzie, a couple days ago, she tweeted out, hey, I've never heard of the word finna, Finna.
Oh yeah, I'm finna tell you.
Yeah, I'm finna tell you, you know, I'm finna do that.
Okay.
I'm finna do that. Yeah, I'm finna beat the shit out you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know.
No finna. I'm white. I'm really white. And I still know finna.
See, I thought it was fitting like FITT, you know.
Right.
Finna. That just sounds like something
45.
Jeff Foxworthy would say on one of his redneck shows, you know.
Absolutely. And that's so, you know, so the English teacher in me, if we want to talk like etymology of the word and stuff, it's rooted in like slave pigeon English and blah 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 blah, whatever. But the point is that, you know, she asked this question. Generally it's an obnoxious question. She's never heard of this word allegedly, and somebody said, yeah, like it's commonly used in the South and by Black people. You know, again, the answer that she was given was a completely obnoxious answer. Right. She goes, oh, well, I've never heard of that. And people promptly said, well, why are you so dismissive of what the answer you got? Like, you asked a question, you received an answer, and then you dismissed it. And her response was, first, she locked her account, then she unlocked her account, then she proceeded to act like she was, I've never been so upset, I've been crying for days. And then Cameron kind of said, you know, he mentioned, like, why does she get upset about this when people merely pointed out that she acted like this word didn't exist, you know, when people have been using this word for decades. Yeah. You know, it's just a colloquialism. It's Black speech, it's diction. Right. And it doesn't really matter how you want to define it, you know. And she tried to act like she's never heard it before, whatever. And so people promptly began attacking him, which was even weirder because it's like, now you're going to attack a Black Southern man for
for answering a question,
right? For merely pointing out that he answered you. They went pure. Like, this is the galaxy brain type shit where it's like, so wait a minute, you would rather defend a white Australian woman who is going to tell the Black Southern man who has been using the word that she is professing to not know his entire life.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to crack up, but I can't help it.
Oh my God.
This is the type of galaxy brain shit that we deal with, where you're just like, what? And I just rubbed my temples because it was like, you're
getting these situations and being like a nerd like I am, some days you think to yourself, like, maybe Thanos was right.
Yeah.
I know this guy who, when he's going to share his opinion anywhere, whether it's in person, on Facebook, wherever, he straight off the bat will tell you, this is my opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion. Don't try to argue with me because I'm not listening. And that's final. And then he'll state his opinion. And then anyone who comes through with anything, he's kind of like, I told you I don't want to hear it.
I got the answer to this one.
Shut down.
I got the answer to this one. Call on me, Grandma. It's like, then keep it to yourself.
Then keep it to yourself.
Right. That's so, like, there's just so many. And speaking, I got to backtrack one sec. Speaking of nerdy stuff, Felipe came back and he's like, hey, I love Captain Spaulding, Evil Evan.
Yeah, my boy.
Love it.
I mean, that's
I hadn't checked back in on the comments for a while, guys. Sorry.
It's all good. It's so tiring some days.
It really is. It's not even worth it most of the time. It's just like,
I've had too many instances where I'll type out a response and it's just like angry, ragey. And then I stop and I'm like, I'm 34. I don't have time for this.
And I know, like,
even with like
Brucey being out of the chat now because he had to go to bed because he works early, and we'll miss you, dude. You know, he and the three of us are all part of the dad club. And when you're running around with your kids and you're trying to get shows or songs or whatever together, and you see these people just going off about this just dumb shit, you're thinking to yourself, man, how much free time do you have? Because I'm in a quarantine and I still don't have free time.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have time for it. I don't see, and that's the part that's killing me, because I'm just like, you all are sitting around, the things that you're finding the energy to argue about are so worthless and petty
and pointless.
They have nothing to do with anything.
Right. And
like, you're finding,
at the end of the day, it's not going to affect my life. So,
and you know what? Honestly, that's why I still have the Facebook group for this show with Twitter and everything. Because like, I know Facebook isn't hot anymore, and we do a lot of stuff for our group, even though it has maybe 300 people in it. But those 300 people are like great, genuine wrestling fans. Like, you can come in, you can talk with them, even if you disagree. Like, they see your point, you see their point, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna squash that, move on, watch something we like, or we're gonna move on to another topic and just go our merry way. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not a lot of wasted time. There's no Muppets whatsoever. It's wonderful.
No personal attack.
And we try our damnedest to keep it that way. That's why there's like 300
check
people.
This out, though. You know what you just said, though? Like, I had a discussion with an artist maybe 2 weeks ago. And, you know, he was kind of down. He was like, man, you know, I think I'm done making music. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I was like, all right, you know, he's like, why? He's like, I don't know if I want to keep making music for the same, like 40 people or whatever. And so I asked him, I was like, you know, do those 40 people buy your music? And he was like, yeah, but, you know, I don't know if they, and I was like, well, if those 40 people buy and enjoy your music, I think you should keep making it. You know what I mean? Because those 40 people they support you, you know, they go out of their way to give you money for this thing that you put together, that you put out, you know. And he was like, man, he kind of blew me off, basically, you know, which is fine. And another one of my, it was actually Zilla Rocca actually saw he saw the conversation. He jumped in. And for those who don't know anything about Zilla, Zilla runs his own record label called $3 Pistol Music. He's also a founding member of Wrecking Crew, which is a crew of MCs out of Philadelphia.
I know.
Yeah. He's absolutely I consider him a mentor, consider him a friend. He's absolutely helped me in me kind of moving forward in my music career, and as far as me like marketing and promoting myself, and also just giving me a lot of like additional confidence in myself, you know, and being, you know, being confident in what I'm putting out, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he kind of told the guy off. He was like, you were really disrespectful to those people who buy your music, because those 40 people give a fuck about you.
Right.
You know, he said,
exactly.
He's like, you're not making socks, you're making art.
Yeah.
And just like you talk about like those 300 people on your Facebook page, right?
Right.
Those same 300 people who they log in, they check, they click on your Facebook, they check to see what you guys are doing. They give a fuck about you guys, man. That's
awesome. I mean, I even have members messaging me like, yo, did you hear about this? Or if you look on this website, it gives you all this history of wrestling stuff so you can get more posts out there, because we got to stay ahead of other Facebook groups. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, you give a damn. You know, and we have maybe like 60 subscribers on YouTube if we're lucky. We got a couple, we got 100 on Twitter. We got, you know, little bits and pieces here and there. But if one person is like, yo, that was a great show, I'm like, all right, we're gonna keep doing it.
And that was it was such a, like, for me to just kind of listen to that conversation and to understand like how like powerful that shit was, you know what I mean? Because like I was saying the exact same thing that Zilla was saying, you know what I mean? Like, but he didn't want to hear it from me because, you know, I might have number or whatever fans I have, but like, I mean, I had people like buying like the Dream Team all the way in Japan. Like, somebody bought the album, and that was one of the coolest fucking moments, was like bundling my CD and shipping it to Japan, and bundling my album and sending it to the Netherlands and to Germany. And people like I dropped Catch Point, like the remix project, and like we sold like 40 like digital copies of that project the first day it dropped, and it was so cool. Like, because I suffer from migraines. I actually had to switch my my little medication up. So the day I dropped Catch Point, I couldn't promote it, which is really bad because of like how bad the particular migraine I had that day I couldn't be in front of a screen or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't promote it. And you guys know, like and for those who are watching this, you guys have seen us like promoting just like this appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's waiting for us to talk about like how, you know, the euro compares to the British sterling and
hey, look, I do want to discuss Mount Jobs more. We got to do that one.
Mount Jobs more.
We have to come up with your four best jobbers in wrestling history. Who are your four best jobbers? So put a pin. I can come up with
two right off the top of my head.
Put a pin in that one. We're gonna come back to it.
Okay.
But I couldn't promote the project. So I had no idea what the project was doing, if people were listening, if anything was happening. Because I legit couldn't look at the screen. I couldn't even get out of bed for 3 days. So I finally, you know, the side effects subsided. I was able to get up, and I, you know, of course, the first thing I do is I open my computer up and I gotta
check.
I gotta check. Like, fuck the headache, fuck everything. I gotta figure this out. And I look at this shit, and I'm like, first of all, I noticed the number of emails I got, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like this, like, oh my God. And it was legit. Like, it was so fucking fulfilling because me and Griff had put in that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To continue to build our fan base, and people were noticing. And, you know, we're doing all these podcasts and doing all of these little appearances, and we're getting a chance to talk, and people are starting to kind of get a sense of like, you know, my personality and learn more about me. And I didn't even know that about you, or I didn't even know this part about you, or, you know, people are picking up like a World Only Gods Know, because they're like, I didn't even know about that album, or I didn't know about Two Man Power Trip, or I didn't know about this, because they, you know, they had only heard about Dream Team and Catch Point, and now they're backtracking. That, man.
Yeah, that was me.
It's been dope. Very, very dope. All this shit has been dope.
Oh, I know. Like, these two would be my witness. The other day, logged on, started looking at numbers for like podcasts and YouTube. And when I got to our podcast page, like, we had been, you know, pretty big in the US. And then all of a sudden I started seeing like Ireland, Italy, Japan, Argentina, and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, guys, we're international. And like, they're freaking out. I'm freaking out. Because like,
we're all like,
you don't expect you know, I mean, I know wrestling is international, but at the same time, I don't know if this comes out in other languages. I don't know if they dub it. And I've seen the subtitles. They're way off. So I don't expect anybody. And then all of a sudden you see these other countries pouring in. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. Like,
when you realize your impact and your reach, and sometimes that was, you know, you don't realize what you're doing until you see it. Like, I was putting together like a list of like all the projects and stuff I did. You know, I was kind of working on like a press release, and I realized I was like, I think I was doing it for you guys. Actually, I was kind of typing it out, and I was like, holy shit, I've done like 20 projects. Like, it was like
right.
Yeah, it was like mixtapes and albums and EPs and stuff we got coming up, and I'm like, holy shit, I've done this much music. And you know, sometimes you're so like stuck in it, and it goes, even like wrestling, right? Like, I was feeling
even
like
with the show, like, you know, we had it originally, the YouTube page was just Top Rope Wrestling Talk, and then I brought back a few other shows, turned it into Fox Den, and when I did, I started making playlists of all the episodes. And once I started looking at Top Rope Wrestling and the actual numbers came up for how many episodes we'd already did, I was like, what? Because you just think, okay, it's another Thursday, we got to get on. You never think to go back and like count up or look at how many or whatever else. You look at numbers, but you never really look at like what you've done. You're just like, oh, that one did good. Okay, I don't know about that one, but I don't know what happened there. But that one did good, and this is cool. We're getting somewhere. Let's keep doing what we do. And then all of a sudden, when you actually look at it and they split it up and they're telling you like this one has 42 episodes, you're like, really? I did that many? You know, there's that much? Wow.
Even in small conversations, like I had a work check-in with, you know, like my supervisors and my bosses and everybody. And they were like, oh, so what have you been doing in the quarantine? I was like, oh, well, you know, I've been doing this podcast on wrestling with some friends. We've been doing it since like last summer. And I was like, holy shit, since last summer? We've been doing it this long. And it was just kind of like a little moment where it's just like, we've been doing this for a while now.
I hate to correct you, but it's been since like November.
It's been like forever though. It feels
like forever. It's been like 6 months. And we're like, 6 months?
It's been a while. That felt like a while.
But you just get lost in it. Like you don't count up episodes.
That's the point.
You don't see how long you've been doing it. You just know like, oh, it's Thursday. Okay, we got some topics. We got this. Let's go. It's another show day. That's all you think about. Like just the next show. And then when you look back, you're like, God damn, we've been busy, you know.
Absolutely. Like that's like the key, right? Like sometimes you get so like grounded into like the minutia of this shit, like of what you're doing, that you don't stop and go, yo, I'm really doing this shit, and you're like noticing your own success. And
or even like Evil Evan and I with the live stream a couple Saturdays ago. We started off, we had everybody, and people would like rotate in and out kind of because like Brucey tapped out, and then my wife showed up, and then Jose showed up, and then they tapped out, and it was my wife, Evil Evan, and I, and we didn't realize how long we had been going. We're just going, we're taking comments, we're drinking, we're having fun on a Saturday night. We're just kicking it with our Facebook group, and my wife taps out. Evil Evan and I are on with actually a group member who we love, and we're cutting up with him, and all of a sudden, like we had started at like 8, and I look down at the clock, and it's like 1:15 in the morning. We're like, did we just do like a 5 fucking hour live? And Evan's on the West Coast, so he's like, I can go all night. And I'm like, it's 1:15, homie. I'm going to bed. I got a kid waking me up in 4 hours, so this shit stops now.
Listen, they waking everybody up. No talking.
Everybody. Everybody. Jeez.
Listen, when they up, everybody's up. Period.
And I just say, when I hear like y'all's parenthood horror stories, I'm just like, whew, let me take that pill one more morning. Thank God, because
just in case.
I love to sleep. I love my naps. I love my
What's that again? What's that again? I don't remember. I ain't slept like. Okay, he turned 9 3 days ago. I ain't slept in like 9 years.
I don't know what sleep is. I remember.
Like, that's why there's coffee.
Oh my God, I love it.
Them K cups come up quick. That's all I'm saying. Oh, thank God.
Oh my God.
Don't get me wrong. I love all y'all's babies, but they y'all's babies, not my babies.
No, that's what I mean. I always loved other people's babies, and my wife would always tell me like, "Oh, you'd make a good dad," and I'm like, "Nah, not for me."
And now look at you.
And now 9 years deep, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a good dad. Like, I don't know.
Maybe Kathy was onto something.
I actually had to show her how to change a kid's diaper, like the first time he went. That was my job. Because I'd already dealt with my sister's kids. I'm the youngest of 6. So all my little, like my godson, all my little nieces and nephews, I had to watch them change their diapers, do whatever. So when our son went for the first time, she's like, I don't know what to do. I was like, come here, I'll show you. You got to take these tabs off, then you got to hold legs up. And I went through the whole thing with her, and she was like, oh, okay. Could you do that again? I'm like, he might pee on you, right? Like this kid's got no control. He's like a day old.
My God.
She's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah. So yeah, I had to school my wife to the kid game.
That's a mess.
I know, poor kid.
Look, we gotta have this conversation. We take the pin out. We gotta come back to it.
The jobber, the Mount Rushmore of jobbers.
The emphasis, Mount Jobsmore.
Mount Jobsmore. I like that.
So
I mean,
everybody always talks about the four greatest wrestlers of all time.
No, we gotta talk about like the 4 squash.
The four guys who make your top guys look the best.
Okay. I mean, are we talking just straight up make top guys look the best, or just overall jobbers?
I mean, that's up to you.
Because if I know one of them has to be the Brooklyn Brawler.
Of course.
All that dude did was job out his whole ass career.
And he did both. He not only made your top guy look good. Yep.
Like all the dirty clothes and the ripped Yankee shirt and the stogie and everything. Like he.
You know what I have in my head?
The best jobber ever.
Repo Man. I don't know why. Like I can't get him out of my head, but the Repo Man.
And maybe Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, that's actually what Felipe said.
I like me a Barry Horowitz. Okay.
Oh, are we still getting comments? I'm not looking.
Yeah, Felipe's still on here.
You're
supposed to look. Who is your Mount Jobsmore? Your top 4.
Oh man, Disco Inferno. That's a good one.
Disco Inferno. Look, I was going.
That's a good one, Felipe.
Here's one I was gonna throw out here. Norman Smiley.
Oh, yeah. The king of the big wiggle, man. You gotta love Norman
Smiley. Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley. Not only look him, and I got one more. William Regal.
Oh yeah.
WWE.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
I'm talking about and WCW. It's got to be a guy you can put into the ring with anybody. I mean,
he won some titles in WCW.
That's okay. But look, being a job guy doesn't mean you have to win a title.
That's true.
Al Snow won a title, but he was still a job guy.
No, I know. We were trying to, because somebody asked us what the best enhancement talent was. And we were trying to figure out if they meant jobber, if they meant guy who could like win any match, but didn't because he was putting other guys over. William Regal would be one of those guys. Like Dolph Ziggler is kind of another one.
Dolph Ziggler goes on my Mount Jobsmore. Because,
you know, we kind of put them on like if jobber was here, enhancement talent would be a little higher because like they can win and they pull titles, but they still job out.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
True.
I think if you start trying to like determine a difference, same thing.
Well, we got the question from a listener, and we were like, "What exactly is that?" And they explained like it's not exactly a jobber, but it's a guy who can win and doesn't. And I'm like, damn, in that case, Andre the Giant was an enhancement talent because he could win any match he ever wanted to. He could be champion until the day he died, but he wasn't.
I think I would currently I would put Natty up there. Like, yeah, she's throwing those little pissy fits.
Yes.
Storyline, but Natty is definitely good at that. She definitely puts them over.
I think we had said her already on one show.
Natty's actually probably perfect for Mount Jobsmore.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So I would say Natty.
Okay.
Brooklyn Brawler. So those are two. Those are two locks.
Two.
Yes.
Everybody agrees on those.
Locked it. No, agreed. I'm good with that. You good?
Put it. So etch them in stone. Okay. Etch them in stone. Now we got 2 more.
Hold up.
Done.
That's right. Done. Natty. So. Oh man. Disco was a good one. That Disco was a really good one.
Yeah, right? Felipe. That was good.
Who?
Chris Candido.
Ooh. But he was so good in ECW though.
Even when he was the whole Skip and Sonny gimmick, his whole gimmick.
Oh yeah, but I mean, when he was in ECW, part of the Triple Threat, like jobber, he was not.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
Tommy Dreamer.
That would be a jobber.
Tommy Dreamer lost way more than he won.
Way more. And people loved him anyway. Didn't give a fuck.
They loved him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he could not beat Raven. Just couldn't, no matter how hard he tried.
How about
when he finally did, man, I was in the crowd. I was happy.
Yep. Go ahead, Evan, one more time.
How about someone who's been able to like make a career out of his stint as a jobber? What about James Ellsworth?
I can't give that guy any love. I just
he's I've seen him going around the indie scene. He's a few still getting some bookings.
Yeah, but he's kind of
he's a
creep.
Yeah, he's a creep.
I can't put somebody on a Mount Rushmore that has no chin. How you gonna sculpt that? You know, like just they could be like, oh, that's wrong. Part of his face is missing. No, that's really what he looks like.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's not bad, but I can't agree to that one. It's like Empire Records. Vito.
I'm still, because you guys mentioned Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler might have to go up there.
Yeah,
I'd put him up.
He really
there.
was, yeah.
God, Dolph Ziggler is like he's made a fortune.
Oh yeah,
making because think about the Bill Goldberg match at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be like he has made a fortune. He has won titles. He has messed with Vicky Guerrero. He has done it all, just jobbing the whole time.
Listen, he took Edge's first spear back.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that was literally his role, was to make Edge
even though they damn near didn't show it on WWE during the Royal Rumble because they were too busy panning to the crowd.
Oh yeah.
No. They did not. They didn't show it. They missed it.
I mean, they had to come back and give you the footage of it after the show. That's right. My bad. They did miss it.
Yeah, they missed it. They had to splice it back in. It was like that coffee cup in Game of Thrones. They forgot. They missed it entirely.
Yo, your Starbucks.
But I think we got to put Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has to go on Mount Jobsmore.
I'll agree to that.
God, pin me, pay me. We got to put my man Dolph up there.
Definitely.
Evan, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3. We got one spot.
One more spot.
So many jobbers.
Who's the final member of Mount Jobsmore?
You know, I think it only because of the moment and the impact that it made after it. Maybe the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Oh yeah, he started off as that, and it kind of like helped him skyrocket.
Like he jobbed out, and then he got that match on Raw with Razor Ramon, and he hit that weird
teabag heard around the world.
And got the quick 3 count, and the next thing you know, just pew, and later X-Pac was born.
and then Go Away Heat was born. The
Right. Exactly.
God, 6-pack. Oh God.
6-pack.
Or I mean, isn't that how we say it? I thought it was pack and not Pac. I don't know how we say this now.
I don't even know anymore.
See,
that's the thing. I guess if they're British,
or pack, we say pack, not Pac.
If it's British, pack. If it's not, Pac.
So is it 6-pack or 6-pac? I don't know what's going on anymore.
I think it's 6-pac because it was X-Pac. So it would be 6-pac.
Or is it X-Pac? See?
Yeah, it was X-Pac.
Whatever you want.
I'm just calling him Adrian Neville. How about that?
That works. I got a buddy who looks like him. It's kind of weird.
WWE was right. All right. Fuck Pac. How about that? I know who the final one is. This is actually perfect.
Oh damn, the light bulb.
Rockstar Spud.
Oh, I do like that. Because even as Drake Maverick, like up until the last few weeks,
listen, Drake Maverick has worked us into a shoot, back into a work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last week. Like, you know, all of a sudden you thought he was released, and then he catches fire in this tournament. Now he's in the finals.
I think
and it's like, is this whole damn thing a work, or were they going to release him until people started, you know, the outcry on social media, and he cut that video? Did he save his own job just by making that?
I think. Listen, I wholeheartedly believe he cut the promo of his life. And really saved his job.
And saved his job.
His job.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Because there was no reason to keep him around. You hadn't seen him in months. And then all of a sudden, you hear he gets cut. And then that video comes out. And people, like, even I, and I like Rockstar Spud. But it's not like, oh, they got rid of Rockstar Spud. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, but I love Drake. But at the same time, they got rid of him. I'd be like, well, what'd you expect? They weren't using him.
Yeah, they weren't using him.
And then he cut that video, and literally, grown man was like a tear welling up.
Listen, I was more upset that they cut Rusev than I was that they cut Spud. And then I watched the video, and I was like,
yeah, I was right there with you.
God. And then even after he cut that video, and they were like, you know, he's still going to participate in the tournament. I was like, okay, you know, he's going to lose 3 times. That'll be the end of it. Then
he'll end the way he started, just jobbing out.
He's gonna job out. You know, maybe he wins a match to kind of throw everybody off the scent.
Like, oh, you know,
yes, exactly.
This last match he had, that 3-way was insane. Oh my god, that ending was like what? And then when he was walking off and he shook hands with what's his name, I was like, I couldn't.
It was it was a shoot. It was that turned into a work. That worked itself back into a shoot.
Right.
That worked itself back into a work somehow. Holy fuck. Like,
and you know he pulled that off on his own, because I don't think WWE can do it anymore.
I think the biggest tell, he hasn't changed his name. His Twitter name.
No,
his Twitter name still says WWE
Maverick. WWE Maverick, yeah.
Oh, I know. You got like EC3 out here calling him Rockstar Spud and putting him on the shirts, but
that means
he hasn't changed his name or done anything. If anything, EC3's his buddy, so of course he'll play along. Yeah. That doesn't mean that Spud's going to come with him wherever he may land. It just means he's trying to help out a friend, you know?
Yep. Back to that's going to be the other interesting part, because where you have MLW is basically kind of like locking in their own talent.
Yeah.
Impact is, I don't know what the hell Impact's doing, because and it's weird because they brought in, like, Jeff Cobb showed up to AEW for one match.
Right.
Like
maybe
lost.
2 weeks.
Yeah, that was weird because I thought Cobb would have fit perfect in there.
I don't know, because that was right around, like, he came in and then this whole thing started, so I don't know if he just dipped.
Yeah. And then
and
now
maybe
that
they're
they brought
waiting
in
to bring him
Cage.
back.
Right.
Yeah, Cage, Jesus.
Yeah, but Cage and Cobb are kind of redundant. That's the other problem.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But yeah, I can see that. But, you know, again, a shout out to Melissa Santos, too, because she pulled the first swerve before Drake or anybody. She was the one shooting down all these reports that, like, Brian was leaving. And, oh, no, my husband's staying. He just needs to get surgery and he'll be back. And then
hold on. Can I tell you an Orlando story really quick?
Go for it.
All right. So in my house, actually, let me tell the story. So in Orlando, Renee lost his bank card, got it stolen. So we have to go down to Bank of America so he can get some cash out or whatever. So we drive down. He goes to his bank. I go to my bank, get some cash. And I'm walking around. I've got my big WWE title on my shoulder. And I walk into the bank and get in line, go get some cash. As I'm walking out, this lady follows me. She stops me. She goes, Are you Roman Reigns?
No.
Now, I'm 6'2". Roman Reigns is 6'5", big motherfucker.
6'6", something like that.
Yeah, 6'6", Samoan,
right?
Long hair. I look nothing like Roman Reigns. Of course, I said, yes, I'm Roman Reigns. In my most stoic Roman Reigns, but yes, I'm Roman Reigns. She, oh my God.
Believe that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was like, yes, I'm Roman Reigns. She's like, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? Sure. So I was like, do you want to hold the title? Can I hold your title? I was like, be careful with this. I have to defend this later on. She's like, oh. So she's like cradling the title. She's like super. I let her take a picture with it. I take a picture with her. She's like, I can't wait to post this. Oh my God, I got to meet Roman Reigns. So I leave the bank. I go and I meet Renee and I tell Renee the story. Renee's like, you know you're going to hell, right? I'm like,
yeah, but it was funny.
I was telling Renee. I was like, Renee, I might be going to hell, but you're laughing, so you're going to hell with me. He's like, oh, I know.
Oh my God.
We go to the show and I'm standing in line to get a picture of Jeff Cobb, whatever, and Cobb and Brian Cage are there. And Cage is like, yo, I remember you from down in Santiago. And I'm like, yo, Cage was good, Cobb was good. Talking to the guys or whatever. And like Renee's like, yo, you should tell them the story. And so I tell them the story of what happened. And they're like, you didn't. I was like, no, I absolutely told that woman that I was Roman Reigns. And so they were like, fuck that. We're signing your picture saying that you're Roman Reigns. So,
that's awesome.
On my wall, I have a picture of Jeff Cobb that says, to Roman Reigns, believe that.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh, now I got tears for different reasons.
Oh my God. I walked into something beautiful and I'm glad for it.
Oh, you went to get hydrated and you missed it. I had another bottle of water on standby, so I was good.
Oh no, I have the opposite. I am too hydrated from the jug.
See that's the problem with all that vodka right now.
Oh yeah. Look.
Oh, water.
We had too much fun in Orlando. Orlando was a wild time, man.
That is a great fucking
that poor
story.
woman. I know she posted that picture on Facebook. I know she told somebody.
Can you imagine the comments below it? Like,
listen, part of me has always wanted to like see the comments, about like I've always wanted to kind of like wonder like what people sold her. Like
you want live video from her when the bubble burst. Just
listen. You know that episode of The Simpsons, like I Love
Simpsons
Lisa.
Is hard.
Yes,
Like I
can
can
pinpoint the
pinpoint
exact
the second,
moment.
like when you're hurt. Because I know that Joe, I know that Joe was hot. She was so she was so excited. Oh my, are you Roman Reigns? She was so excited. She was so excited to hold that title. She was so excited.
Oh, poor baby.
Reigns. Poor baby.
Summer child.
And I was, listen, she ran to the wrong one because of course I was gonna say yes. Of course I was gonna be like, yes, of course I'm Roman Reigns because all black people look alike. Come on.
I think somebody had to take that woman's shoelaces. That's all. When she found
Oh
out.
my God.
I got called. I'm pretty sure I got called all types of nasty names.
She she swore that woman swore off WWE and strictly watches AEW because of that moment.
Listen, I'm pretty much positive I got called all types of names that I shouldn't be called, but
yeah,
it was worth it. It was worth it.
My God, yeah.
Definitely.
If I was you, I would have done the same damn thing. Like, yes,
yes, I am. Listen.
Okay, don't be too loud about this, but yeah, it's me.
Yeah, just
don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody else. Listen, can I hold the title? Yeah, go just for you. Don't tell anybody.
Just for you.
Listen, she was so excited to hold that title. Like she's
that's too funny.
It's so heavy.
Oh my God.
For the record, we're tagging that we had at Roman Reigns on our social.
We're doing that. We get joined by no.
And we get the Muppets to start trying to scroll and find when he pops on, and they never find them. Hey,
hashtag believe that.
Yo, right at the end of the show, I'm just gonna put a little clip at the end of it. Gotcha.
Just from that one video. Got him.
Subscribe to make him pop up at the end.
Listen, I want to say this. All joking aside, and a lot of people don't want us. I'm very proud of Roman Reigns though for deciding to not wrestle WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With everything that was going on. It took a lot of courage to walk away from a WrestleMania main event spot, even in a pandemic, and prioritizing the health of himself and his twin babies. Because I know that made a lot of people angry. I don't care what they said. I don't care what they believe. I know for a fact that made a lot of people upset, but he prioritized his children and himself.
But at the same time, it's kind of a shitty look for WWE because they tell these guys, oh yeah, you can go home if you want to, protect your family or do whatever. No heat, you're good. And then they go home, and the next thing you start hearing rumblings backstage about Roman Reigns, or Sammy gets stripped of the Intercontinental title or whatever because they stayed home. It's like, wait, I thought you said these people go home, no heat, no problem, no nothing, and then they go home.
I think the Sammy thing is a work though.
I don't know. It could be. I mean, we're seeing this with Drake. It might just be a work too, but it just seems too eerily, similar to what happened with Roman Reigns, and then now this. It's like
because they specifically mentioned the Sammy one and said they were going to do the tournament thing because he couldn't defend the title, and that sounded. They did the same thing with the Jordan Devlin. Mm-hmm. Say it again.
The Sammy keeps tweeting about. There was one that Fox did fill in the blank, so and so, or will be the champion.
Next should be and will be ashamed.
Ashamed.
So,
yes.
I mean, if my place of employment were to send me home, unceremoniously, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna go back on Twitter, try to put them over, and try to get any attention on them, unless you're calling them out for their negativity.
Yeah.
Right.
He's playing along. Leads me to believe that you're going to get, like you said, a Jordan Devlin kind of interim. I'm the real champ feud later.
Yeah,
I'm not mad.
I mean,
at
it could be a
crowd.
work, but it feels like the wrong time to make WWE look bad on account of pandemics and shit. You know, it's just not the right move. I don't know if they thought that up and they were like genius, but you know, they need somebody. I'm not saying me, but somebody like me sitting there going like, yo, wait a minute, you don't want to do this right now. Like, not now,
Hey,
not now.
One thing you always, I feel like any big corporation needs is what you always title like the regular person.
Yeah.
Because you always have these people who are like high up. Like it was like Madonna today. Like Madonna posted that video of her son like dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of the video was to make racism go away. And I'm like, look, having a little black child dancing to make racism go away is so fucking like tone deaf. And it's like,
I wish it was that easy, you know.
I was like, this is so
like there's never been not for nothing, but there's never been a video of a little black kid dancing before on YouTube ever or social media ever.
Yeah, that makes me go, James, that solved everything.
That just turns every racist.
You had the privilege to sit there and film this and edit this video
right
as people are dying. I mean,
right. But you know, you think this video is going to turn like racist motherfuckers on social media into like the Grinch? Like that day, their heart grew 3 sizes.
Listen, correct. Like first of all, she lives in London now.
Right.
Let's stop the tomfoolery. All right, but that's what I mean. Like you just need somebody to look over your shoulder and go, look, you're too rich.
Don't do this.
I'm a regular person. That's a bad idea.
Yes.
Like, regular people are going to hate this idea.
Yes.
Like, don't do this thing.
Like all the celebrities when this first happened, they came out and they're like, "Oh, I'm in this with you," and they're cutting videos from like their big mansion,
from their fucking mansion,
and you can see like the Lamborghini in the driveway, and like, I'm just like you. Yeah, I'm in this with you, and you're like, no, you're fucking not. That's the regular guy.
I'm quarantined with my home theater and my personal chef.
Right, and my indoor
fuck
pool.
Out of here. Right.
You know,
eat a dick. That's my fault.
No, you're good. Eat a dick. Cool.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
what I mean.
the
Like
fuck
you
out of my
need the
face.
regular guy at that point to look at these celebrities and be like, yo, don't put that out there. Just don't.
Correct.
Trust me. Like delete it now. Thank me later. You're gonna catch so much shit for this.
Like just hire the regular guy. Like that's his or her only job.
Right. I will happily be a regular person.
I will
happily be a celebrity's regular guy. Especially if you want to move me in and like set up a studio so we can do, you know.
I don't even need to do that. I can be regular person from here. All you gotta do is just have alerts go to my phone. Like I'm about to do this thing.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. The regular signal is going off.
Yeah, hold on. Do I do this thing? No.
No.
I put it down and live my life. Yeah, like no. Hell no.
Let me tell you real quick. Then you have like the bad influences and the enablers and all those people that are like, you know what? Let's watch this world burn. Like, yes, Madonna, put that video out, girl. Do it. You know.
But see, they would hire you for you'd be hired for the enabler job.
I'd be hired to watch the world burn.
She'd be hired for like the emperor job. She just put that hood over her head and sit behind him going, do it.
God damn it, Darth Wendy.
Post it, Madonna. Run your career further.
The circle is complete.
Dude, I was watching the video right now. It looks like she put him on display. Like it's weird.
Yes, that's what she did.
She really did. Though.
Fucking stupid.
I saw it. She really did.
A black boy.
Oh God, I'm sorry, Felipe. You're still watching along. Oh, he was talking about he was talking about Pac. He was like, oh, 6-pack was a short gimmick. Then he went to 6, X-Pac, and beyond. Okay. I'm so sorry. We get into this, and I'm not used to having all these comments, and then I forget about it, and I'm like not even looking at the screen, and then I go back, and I'm like, oh shit, people are.
You know that this was one of the moments when Pac needed a regular person to tell him, no, Sean, don't do that. When he did Veronica, he played a bouncer at a nightclub in that movie. That movie was horrible. Glenn Danzig, shame on you for that movie. But thank you for giving us such horrible garbage.
Okay.
But Pac was in it, and it was one of those moments where someone should have told him, like, this is not a good idea. It's gonna.
Welcome to Mixed Signals with your host, Grandma Wendy. It was garbage, but thank you. What?
But thank you. If you need to laugh at something bad because it's so horrible, that's
I laugh at something bad. It's called social media. No.
A 2-minute moment in it where he plays a bouncer and he's telling these cops like, no, but it doesn't. I don't know. Someone should have told X-Pac, don't do that movie.
That's when you need the regular guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like when like Evan and I have talked about this before. Thank God they've kind of made progress in this field. But like when WWE signed Super Crazy, Hoobie, and Psychosis, and brought them out as the Mexicools on the back of a fucking riding mowers. On the back of a riding mower, that's when you need the regular guy to be like, yo, you don't want to do this, because even if you're trying not to look racist, even if you don't think it's racist, it's fucking racist. Like, you don't want to do this shit.
But y'all, that looks bad.
I told you, just having that one person who goes, no, don't do that.
Yeah, right. Because like, thank God they don't do shit like that anymore. At least we've got a little bit of progress.
They're improving a little bit.
And I'll be honest, it's tougher in wrestling because wrestling and gimmicks and everything were created on stereotypes from the very beginning all the way up.
Yep.
And even though they want to try to break kayfabe and they want to get rid of some of these traditions and all this other stuff, they never seem to want to get away from that stereotype. And then the problem is the stereotype looks fucking racist because it is.
Because
so you might want to get rid of the stereotype.
Because I mean, the simplest answer is the most obvious one, right? You want to have an immediate reaction when the person comes through the curtain. Like wrestling is a lot of things. Wrestling is a lot of things. But the most important thing is it's a visual art form.
Right.
I should be able to identify within seconds. That's a good person. That's a bad person.
That's a bad person. Right.
Right. I should want to cheer this person. I should want to boo that person.
Right.
And if I can't do that, that's a problem.
It's like,
and this has been this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. This has actually been an issue with a lot of wrestling now. Like, and this is truthfully, we can call it Triple H syndrome. A lot of the leather, the jackets, are you a babyface or are you a heel? You dress like a heel,
but you act like a babyface.
Yeah, but you talk like a babyface, but then you're acting like a heel. Like, look, the greatest
even with Becky. You know, they turned Becky heel and she started that man thing and people were losing their minds for it and placing the wall for her. And she was supposed to be a heel. So then they just turned it, but now she's still wearing the same leather and everything like when she came out as a heel.
You forget
like, which one are you? It
goes back to that
syndrome to Becky syndrome.
This goes back to the same conversation about this is why WWE shouldn't be listening to fans. You guys remember the original match was supposed to be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. Yep. Not Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte.
Right. Well, actually, it was supposed to be Ronda versus Becky, and then Nia broke her face, and they were going to put Charlotte in.
It was supposed to be no. It was supposed to be Becky versus Ronda at Survivor Series.
Oh, that's right. And Nia broke her face.
And then Nia broke her face, and then she got that fucking reaction. And because she couldn't wrestle, they put Charlotte in that spot. And then they went ahead with the match with Sasha at Royal Rumble. Becky did not cool down. Because remember, Becky was supposed to turn heel. And remember, she cut that heel promo.
Right.
She cut that heel and said, oh, the fans, you guys booed me and you hated me. The fans turned on WWE immediately during the promo.
Yeah. They were cheering.
They were cheering her.
They were cheering her. Well, she was basically telling them, "You turned on me, fuck you," and they're
correct.
Cheering her.
And that fucked everything. And that's what I mean when you say sometimes the WWE is actively fighting themselves, because when they say they listen to the fans, and in that case they had no choice but to listen to the fans. But now guess what you have to do? You have to change all of your booking decisions.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying you're trying to book to this match, this long-term match of, and this is why Asuka lost to Charlotte at the previous Mania, because now you set up Asuka you set up Charlotte versus correct. And that's why you had Becky lose to Asuka at the Royal Rumble. Like, they didn't change a lot of their booking choices, except for that one big booking choice of having to put Asuka or putting Becky into that match at WrestleMania.
They were like, oh shit, Becky's still popular. Oof, put her in.
They didn't have no choice. They didn't have no choice.
They didn't.
And that's the irony of all of it.
That's to me. It's like if you want to blur these lines in wrestling where we don't know who everybody is, then you don't have to have these crazy stereotypical characters to come out and get that immediate reaction. Like we all know, I think we all know that like the Von Erich family and where they came from and what they did and how great they were in rings and that type of stuff. And back in the day, like his dad, Fritz had to be a Nazi because that was like the worst fucking thing possible. And he had to draw heat as soon as he came out of that curtain. You don't need that type of reaction anymore. People are going to react to the people that they like, regardless of whether they're face, heel, whatever.
For the most part.
So if you ease up on these stereotypes and you just let fans, do what they want to do with these people and you kind of book it accordingly, then eventually these stereotypes start to go away and eventually things start to really change. Well, they just haven't got to that point.
I don't think I agree with you that you don't need these stereotypes anymore. But one thing that I do think that you do need is character development.
Yes.
Like one of the greatest things about NXT, or at least that you used to be able to see with NXT, was you got to see the entire development of a character. Think about Bayley, right? And Bayley's probably the greatest example of this. We got to see Bayley evolve as a character and as a person. From the naive hugger to a loser, quite frankly, to somebody who could not win the big match, to somebody who becomes confident, to somebody who finally pins Sasha, becomes a champion, carries the brand, becomes the Bayley that we know, finally loses to Asuka. And you got to see that character arc over time. You got to see the character arc with... Remember, Charlotte and fucking and Sasha Banks were fucking weed carriers for Summer Rae.
Yeah, they really were.
They were the BFFs.
Summer Rae and her nose that's bigger than mine. God damn.
Yes, Becky Lynch was doing the jig. She was doing the literal jig.
She was. I remember.
Yes.
Shout out to Summer Rae wherever you are.
Right. Remember, like. And this is the part that we miss, where you get to see these people really kind of build their characters. And even with like Becky Lynch, right? We got to see Becky get manipulated by Sasha Banks, do her dirty work, realize that Sasha's not her friend. Eventually they become friends, go through matches, blah, 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 blah. But we get to see the character get built,
Right.
That's missing in wrestling overall.
It really is.
NXT still does a pretty good job of it overall. The call-ups have become more frequent.
Yeah,
and they've gone away from
some of the like more homegrown, not exactly, but some of the more known talent in MLW has been built quite nicely too. Like guys like Hammerstone, like who just kind of started out one place and grew to the point where like he's now defended a title 9 or 10 times and looks unstoppable and great in the ring. So you want to build a character like that. They just re-signed him, which I was like, cool, because they're building him properly, which I dig. And he's he's talented enough to be anywhere, but they're building him and he wants to have a legacy. So it's like, all right, cool. I respect all of that from him, from them, from everyone.
Absolutely.
Like they do a pretty good job with some of their guys. It still stands to see some people in AEW, they're kind of building up, and some they just kind of stick in those little roles like, hey, Darby, you're just going to go kill yourself. And it's like, okay, well, what else does he do? Nothing. He kills himself. Okay, well, what's he? Yeah, but where's he going from here? He's probably going to be dead.
Listen.
Oh, okay.
Listen, if they were smart, Darby and Sammy and MJF, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants to... Kenny Omega, I've never been a Kenny Omega fan. I'm not now. I wasn't in New Japan. I wasn't in PWG.
I was kind of in like with him in New Japan. Like I didn't love him. I didn't hate him. I was just like, listen, I like him. Like just
I can tell you like this. Now that he has been, I don't want to say forced, but now that he has had to wrestle a more traditional American style of wrestling with more American wrestlers, if we're just being frank, he has definitely been exposed as somebody who, because he's not wrestling Sonata and Okada and fucking Suzuki. I mean, I mean, you're not wrestling top tier guys and you're not being told by fucking Gedo, yo, just go wrestle for 20 minutes and don't worry about the camera. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Right. We'll take care of the rest. He has to play. He actually has to play to a hard cam, and he has to. And so you're noticing the inconsistencies between his work and the stuff that he's doing, and it's clear there's a disconnect.
Yeah, there's a learning curve, and he just needs to.
But it's not even. But this isn't even just a learning curve. It's a disconnect between ability and function.
Yeah.
Because function is me doing the moves in the ring.
Yeah.
He can still do the stuff that he's doing, but it's not translating to what they're presenting on TV.
Right.
It's just not.
Like when you can do it or how or you know.
Yeah. Like think about this.
And he just doesn't seem to have that timing. You know,
the timing is off, and then he looks in the Stadium Stampede. The shot where him and Hangman are drinking, and he's drinking like a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
It's like I said it. I think if you squinted your eyes real hard, you could have seen Kurt Angle in that shot, like just drinking milk.
but even then, like Kurt Angle would have made that scene
much funnier.
Both funnier and also like Kurt Angle never made Milk look stupid.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
when it was like
you're watching it
on top of a truck.
like he's drinking the milk and he looks like a total like I don't want like
he still looks badass.
Yeah, he still looks badass. Like he still looks like Kurt Angle would like suplex you off a building.
Right. Like he'll just suplex you off the top of that truck while he's drinking.
Right. Like as someone who was a fan of New Japan Kenny, seeing AEW Kenny, I'm like, you fucking nerd. Like, oh my
God, thank you.
That's the stuff that makes you look cool in Japan makes you look nerdy in the United States. It's just
in the United States, and just look like
all the cool stuff that he did. He's not doing anymore. Like he's not coming out. He's not coming out to like his Terminator tribute and that type of stuff. He's coming out dressed up like Goku and shit. You know, like it doesn't.
In matching outfits with Riho.
Riho, he just looks like a dweeb, and it's just like
he does.
You're not a top guy, and that's my thing. I'm like, and that's my point. Like
in Japan, at least he looked like a top guy.
Thank you. But think about this, right? The smartest thing Sammy did, and you remember the first couple of episodes of Dynamite, Sammy was wearing what? That ridiculous fucking panda shit.
Yes.
And somebody, whether it was him or whether it was Jericho or somebody smart, said, if you don't burn that fucking panda hat and get it the fuck out of
Jericho.
Here, I don't care who it was. And just be because like Sammy in real life, he's just a fucking jerk.
Yes.
But he's also a really good guy. Like he's a funny
jerk.
Guy, but he's a funny jerk. He's he's a smarmy jerk, and that's the character he plays, and it works. And that's the charisma that it just exudes from it. And
that's why I said it had to be Jericho, because Jericho is one of those guys that always talks to the younger guys and says, you know, take your own personality, make a gimmick out of it. Just turn your personality up to,
crank it up to
11.
Look, the sex gods?
That
shit is
gods.
perfect. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. And that's what I mean. Like that shit right there works. That's the type of stuff you look at that and you say, I can push that. I can watch that. And I can show that to somebody and say, I see why I should. Like you that's what I mean when I say, like, when Sammy walks out, I should boo that guy. I shouldn't like him because he's a jerk.
We had this kind of like debate with somebody in our group where they were like, oh no, you know, it's cool in the panda stuff. And I was like, you can't be a heel looking to draw heat coming out in panda garbs. Like there is nothing heat or scary about fucking pandas. Like there just isn't.
Thank you.
I mean, if they stop being lazy and actually snatch you, then they're scary, but they have to like not be lazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of work though.
Exactly. That's why they just eat bamboo.
For pandas, that's like a month's work to like stop being lazy and snatch you at the same time. Like if you think sloths are bad, pandas are worse. So
Listen.
Did you mute yourself? Oh no.
No. Where'd he go?
I think he's having like connectivity issues.
Okay. Oh man. That sucks. I know we gotta wrap this up. I just want to see if he comes back or not.
Oh, excuse me.
Because this is going on like 3 hours.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, it really has. It didn't feel like it either, like we were talking about, but because it was just such a roller coaster show. We're laughing, we're talking serious. We're not talking about wrestling or music, you know.
Feeling like my eyelashes sticking.
Yeah, I've had that same problem.
Oh no, it's from the mascara.
He said mine's just from like dead eyes. He said, "Hold on," and then he just did. Okay, so maybe
Evan looks so mellowed out right now.
Maybe he will be back. Ah, there he is.
Yay, there he is.
Okay, good. I'm so glad. But yeah, thank God, there's nothing scary about pandas. Nothing.
Are we gonna discuss the mime?
No.
He said we can bring it up on another show because this is going on like 3 hours and it's been a blast. It's been a fucking roller coaster. 1 minute we're talking serious, the next minute we're laughing our asses off. And I appreciate Scorsese for sticking around, but I think we got to wrap this all up and call it a night.
Get it in an Invasion Part 2.
Yeah, we'll have to do the Invasion Part 2 somewhere down the line. This was too good. I couldn't like. I was thinking about it, and I was like,
we'll get the rap battle in the Invasion 2.
Rap battle. Who's gonna battle him? None of us can fucking rap.
All of us. We're all taking turns. We're going around one line each.
That's gonna be.
We're gonna do one line each.
That's gonna be a bad
You guys
show.
never did that the campfire game where you tell a story and you each go one line. We're gonna do one lyric each, and we're gonna have like.
I ain't trying to put that. I gotta be honest. I ain't trying to put that live on YouTube.
I'll start thinking of words that rhyme with top rope.
Words that rhyme. But yeah, I appreciate you, Scorsese, for hanging in there. And yeah, we really can't. But and I thank everybody who's commented, who's asked questions, who's followed along for the last 3 hours. It's been a great time. We appreciate all of you too.
The chili, who knew, right?
Right, Philippe. Yeah. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like,
can I shout out my brothers real quick for watching? Thanks, you guys.
Of course.
Already the Dustin, you guys are the best. Thank you.
You really are.
You better support your only sister.
Sister, right, guys.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell mom.
I'm gonna find you guys if you treat her bad.
Right, I'm gonna tell mom to put you in your place.
You get the rat. You're the chancla.
That's right. Mom don't play.
Yeah, and when you're sitting there all beat up, no vaporub for you.
Nope.
I heard him.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, there we go.
Welcome back, baby.
No, my damn computer was dying. I had to go plug it in.
I got you.
I think I probably I nicked another cord. So I was unplugging some shit.
I can feel my laptop getting warm while I'm because I got it plugged in, but it's just been going.
My eyes dry in here.
So, yeah, we thank everybody for following along with us through this whole 3-hour invasion. Like we gave you a Monday Night Raw of Top Rope Wrestling talk, and I'd like to think it was a little bit more entertaining.
And it was fun.
And it was fun.
Way more entertaining. You hear me? You know what I mean? Listen up, man. Top Rope Wrestling talk. You thought I wasn't gonna do the outro? You thought I was only gonna do the intro and not the outro? You thought Scorsese Lord Jones was gonna let y'all off the hook? Top Rope Wrestling talk. Scorsese Lord Jones, Griff Scorsese, Griff X Scorsese, stacking chips on record, crushing every single enemy. .bandcamp.com. We here right now, man. I got everybody. The South Philly Psycho. I got Wendy there. I got my man Mike Evans here. It's real crazy. cutting wrestling promos. You know what I mean? Look at over here. I got my drink. Look, man, check this out, man. Look. Dream Team. Stokely Hathaway joint. Exclusive merch. If y'all want the shirts, y'all need the albums. Just here, hold on, because I do got to cut me a real promo.
Oh, yeah.
I was all gonna decide.
Oh no, go right ahead.
Listen up, man. June 1st. June 1st. This is important. Bandcamp Friday. So normally Bandcamp is like raping you records because they take my money out of my pocket before it even gets to my pocket. Anytime anybody purchases an album or anything, I know. You feel me? Hit them with the double, two thumbs down.
Double.
Right?
They
always take a couple dollars from me.
I just gotta get it back up because it's dead. Right. But I gotta get it back up. Hold up. Where's it at?
Listen, so they always, but Bandcamp Friday, June 1st. Boo! What they're doing is they're actually holding the artist down. They're gonna let me keep 100% of my profits. I got Dream Team t-shirts. I got Dream Team shirts, Dream Team CDs, Dream Team tapes, and additional items that are gonna be on sale. You can pick those up. Griff Scorsese.bandcamp.com. Please shop with me if you like. You can also pick up A World Only Gods Know. I got some additional CDs, shirts, and tapes there. And you can also pick up some extra Zip Squad stuff. I got a couple things left over as well. If you don't, please support independent artists. I don't think you guys understand how important this conversation was. Take all the wrestling, take everything else out. Top Rope, I'm extremely grateful for the fact that they gave me these 3 hours. They couldn't have gave me 30 minutes and I would have been just as grateful. Giving me an opportunity to talk about my music, talk about wrestling, talk about my life, giving me a platform is supremely valuable as an independent artist because it gives me a chance to get to reach out to my supporters, who are the people who are hopefully paying attention and getting a chance to meet and greet new supporters. Even if you don't like what I talked about, even if you listen to my music and you decide to like it, hopefully you pick up and you hear somebody else and you like them and you support them.
Right.
Please continue to support independent artists. Please continue to support independent platforms like Top Rope, like Fox Den Productions. It matters, man.
It really does.
I'm really thankful.
Yes. Every like, every subscription.
Every little subscription.
Oh, yeah.
All of it.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
that being said,
I'm gonna wait.
If you ain't,
I'm gonna wait till June 1st now, and then I'm gonna go get the shirt. Because I was thinking about getting the shirt. I'm waiting.
That being said, it's important. If you ain't supporting, Griff and Scorsese and Top Rope Wrestling Talk, I got 2 words for ya.
Suck it.
There we go. I was about to say, look, Attitude Eric came back with one thing.
Hey, at least I was there to do it for you, because I did the whole Al Snow thing one day when he got brought up. I was like, what does everybody want? Crickets.
Oh,
straight up.
Gotta yell head. Hey, if you ain't yelling head, you ain't down.
Whole show crickets. I was like, thanks, guys.
Come on.
I take every opportunity I can to yell the word head out in public.
At least, come on. You got to do it for the one time. For the one time.
Our bad.
That being said, look, thank you guys. I'm really serious when I say it. Thank you guys so much for bringing us on. We really are thankful. Hopefully,
gotta book that Invasion episode 2. I was telling Dom we're gonna
get Griff on next time. I would love to.
Next episode we'll get a battle rap going.
That'll be like very
man. I'll bring, maybe not that one. I'll bring the big speakers, man. We could play a couple songs. I can let you guys hear some things. Please remind me. I want to send you guys
8 Mile style.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Listen,
we'd love to have you back on again, man. Have another Invasion. This was great. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yes,
I already got my bars ready. Me and Wendy, we gonna spoon
Stay
like
ready.
a Frosty.
Oh shit! I gotta find a right time. Top rope, the top dope on the top rope. No hope.
We're here at Top Rope. If we're battling this man, there's no hope.
Ain't no hope. I'll stick to my dope.
And that's all I got, folks. Fuck it.
Hey, look, man. I love you guys.
Don't drop the soap.
Don't drop the soap. There's no hope.
Quarantine lockdown. Don't drop the soap. You know.
Top rope, Titanic. It won't float. Muhammad Ali wear a rope of dope. Crazy Lord Jones.
Oh my God.
Again, shout out the Top Rope. Thank you guys, man. You roll with us. Hey, Felipe, man, I love you. Thank you so much for checking in all the way from Santiago, Chile.
South America.
Shout out to
TWT World Suplex. I love you guys.
Felipe, we're not worthy. Thank you so much, guys.
Too sweet. Love you guys, man. Love you guys.
I'm gonna boop you Statlander style.
Every single enemy. Oh my God! Don't boot me anything like Statlander style. You might have destroyed my kneecap.
We'll catch you next week, guys.
Look, how is she somehow like worse than Nia Jax, man? She is the most dangerous. Look, if they're smart, hold on, we gotta finish. If they're smart, they make that her gimmick. She's the alien from outer space, and all she does is hurt people.
She hurts you.
She doesn't
never come out with like the EMT staff.
As Dr. Britt Baker said, we're calling bullshit. Conspirator.
That should be her gimmick. Remember Nia came out with the punch?
The punch.
Mm-hmm.
Make that your gimmick. Lean into it. Lean into face breaker. Lean into it. I'm telling you.
Orange Cassidy and those kicks, the kicks of doom.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Look,
keep going 3 more hours. We're gonna keep going.
Listen. And I'm gonna get in trouble.
Peace.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Y'all. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you, Scorsese.
Peace.
All right, there goes the live.